So, everybody, listen, I've been kind of frustrated with what's been going on in the marriage market. That's the market that I'm primarily working in. I work with women, beautiful, elite women, primarily from the ages of 25 to 35, although I work with women of all ages. And what I've commonly seen over the years are women coming to me saying, "Look, I need to prepare to be a wife." So I admire that. I think that is awesome. I think that is wonderful. However, for the last, I would say, 10 years, I've been kind of, well, I don't want to say windmilling, but kind of windmilling for the men. Like, hey, ladies, let's circle our wagons. Let's prepare. There are wonderful men out there that want to marry us. And I still do believe that. But I also believe there's a large amount of men that are full of crap. I believe that they are very hypocritical. They don't stand on what they say. They're full of crap. And they like to use the marriage conversation to shame women into free sex. I said it and I stand 10 toes down on that. Welcome, everybody, to the channel. Today is going to be a little bit different energy. The last time we did this particular show was like 2 weeks ago. And the church aunties got on me because it was very colorful. My husband is very colorful. They were just grabbing their pearls. Oh my gosh, Nicole, you can't say those things. Well, I'm going to say it again today in a PG way. I'm also going to have some people join me. If they are welcome, they have received an invitation from me. They are welcome to join me. And ladies that are listening to me live, you are welcome to join me. You do not have to be on camera. You can do audio, but we're going to have a real conversation, not that stuff we see on these podcasts and these panels where people are just trying to be seen and trying to be cute, and they're just kind of editing how they feel because they want to be seen a certain way. Now, listen, I'm married. I'm happily married. So I could say some of the things that I've observed. And what I've observed, I tell women all the time, the areas of opportunity for us. But now it's time to have a real candid conversation about the opportunities that men leave on the table. Because when I come back, I'm going to tell you why I want to drag them for filth today. I also want to make a special recognition to men in the church, because I feel like the men in the church, as you will see this video that I'm playing of this young lady, a lot of men in the church are doing the same thing that the men that don't go to church are doing. Yes, they're doing the exact same thing. And I just want to pour into women, especially the women of God, of women of morals. You're trying to get it together. Nobody's perfect, but you're trying to get yourself together. I just want to give you some encouragement to say it's not all your fault. Because if you log on social media, they'll make it seem like it's all women's fault. And I'm here today to tell you, nah, it's time to call out some of these men, right? We have a president that is pro patriarchy, pro family, pro everything. And in the next 4 years, if I don't see a lot of men getting married, I'm going to call you hypocrites and fakes and phonies, because there's no way you can sit up here and drag women about their morals, their habits, the promiscuity, their not wanting to be married, being feminist, and all of these things, and you do not get a wife in this climate. Because I'm telling the women that want husbands, now is the time to get it. We have a president in office who's pro family. Whether you like him or not, there is a strong undertone of these manly men, the Marlboro man. Lacey, you know what I'm talking about. The movies are coming out that are uber masculine. We have TV shows of men on horses and uber masculine and saving the woman. We're going back to that uber masculine man's man type of image. And so the undertone is clear that men want women. So if all I hear after 4 years, you haven't built anything, you haven't grown your portfolio, you haven't gotten a wife, or at least very close to it, something's wrong with you. And I am predicting that after 4 years, right? And when it starts to die down, this momentum that we are, this pro family momentum starts to die down. What we saw in the 90s where women were dragging men, that's going to be on fleek afterwards, because the women are going to go, listen, why weren't you building? Why don't you have a portfolio? Why don't you have things to offer me to start a family? You've had 4 years to go back to school. You have 4 years to start a business. You have 4 years. Literally, you have an opportunity. Right now is an AI gold mine. People are literally having startups that are going through the roof, billions of dollars investing. Why aren't you starting a business? Why aren't you getting out there providing to put yourself in a position to take care of a family? There won't be any excuse you can use in the next few years as to why you don't have a wife, why you don't have a family, and why you're not leading something. No woman in her right mind will listen to any of you after that. What we experienced in the 90s, where women were dragging men about a BMW, we need a black man working, and why aren't these men? Oh, that will be on fleek in the next few years. And I'm ready to just drag, but we're going to start this video and we're going to get it started. My husband's going to join me, and then I sent some invitations to a few others. Feel free to join me. Listen, you know my audience, you know how we get down over here. Spread the word, share, like, and subscribe. We're going to get started. Let's go. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Inner Beauty TV. I'm your host, Nicole Michelle, founder and feminine mentor for the Inner Beauty movement. Um, we're all about helping women reconnect with the power, their core, their essence, while simplifying the pathway to marriage. So, if that seems like something you'd be interested in, definitely give us a like, a follow, a subscribe. We definitely would love to have you a part of our feminine tribe. You can join our free newsletter. We love to have you on that, mrsnicolemichelle.com. If you'd like to join our membership, we're going to put that in the stratosphere in the next few months. We'd love to have you a part of our membership. The link is at the top. Let me make sure you see that. The link is at the top. And also, I am shutting down one-on-ones probably for the rest of the year, unless you have a package with me. So if you think that you want to work with me, now is the time to go ahead and get that set up. And you don't have to book a session right away. You can sit on those for when you're ready for them, but I will not be offering one-on-ones. I need to kind of hold on, let me pin this link. The pin link is at the top. If you want to join the membership, that fee will be going up. If you want to book sessions with me, they will not be offered after May. So you definitely want to get in on that. Please don't DM me, Miss Nicole, I have an emergency. If you are not actively a member of the Future Wives Club or an active package with me, we're not already working with me, I will not do that. I've got to free up some time. So with that being said, I am excited to start this show today, um, to have this discussion. This is actually a redo of this. So I won't say it's technically part two, but it is a redo. The church aunties were like, oh my God, they were grabbing their pearls and oh my goodness, the language. I can't believe I came here. So I do want to say that I don't backtrack the things that I say, and I stand on them 10 toes. So all I'm doing right now is just making sure that what I said is out there in the ether. I want everybody to hear it. I'm not going to backtrack. This is just the PG version. So if you missed the first one and you want to hear the colorful version of this particular conversation, it's still available on my app, Feminine Elite Society app. You can go download it and you can hear the first part, which was gold, absolute gold, y'all. Gold, gold, gold. But anyway, so I found this young lady on social media and on YouTube, and I thought she was a sweet young lady. I don't know her history. I don't go all into that. I saw the video and I had my husband watch it, and I got frustrated because I felt like, look, all of the men have been screaming about for the past few years actually since I've been on the scene is these women need to be taught how to be wives. They need to be feminine. They need to be all of these things. And I said, well, that's why I'm here. Except I don't really get a lot of support from men unless the people that are half naked get support from men. But if you're not talking about telling women to have sex with them or telling them how to finesse them, they really don't have anything for you. So that further lets me know that they don't want wholesome women. They want women that are going to capitulate and be subjugated to them sexually, but in terms of having a relationship with them, that is not what they want. What I have determined over the past few years is that there are quite a few women that have resigned themselves to no wanting no parts of marriage, and that is okay. This is not a beat up session on them and their choices. I'm just telling you what's out here in the market. Let me get the photo of the marriage market so that you understand what I'm talking about. All right, so we talk quite often about the three markets that's going on right now. We have the marriage market, which is what I talk about, the marriage market. I'm preparing women to show up in the marriage market as wives so that men will, see them as wives and they will marry. The Bible says, um, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing, so that she is a wife before he marries her. But the other part of that is he obtains favor from God for being with her. And women that are listening to me, we're working on positioning you how to show up in the marriage market. That's one part of the market. The other part is the dating and the sexual market, which most people, when they're talking about dating and relating, they're talking about this. And I wanted to be clear that I don't do date coaching because a lot of it has to do with how women are showing up in the dating and sexual market. That will get you nowhere. The women that come through my program, I do not prepare you to show up as a perfect dater. I don't believe there's a such thing. Although there are dating coaches that are needed because they help you learn how to socialize and kind of be good and confident in how you show up. So I think some of the things that they teach is good in terms of showing up and learning how to socialize. But a lot of it really boils down to how you show up sexually, really. And it's really a meat market. I want to figure out who I can sleep with, and I want it on my terms. It's really about control. And then what I believe is the undertone to all of these conversations, especially the dating, the sexual market, if you look on your screen, all of that is the dark market. All of it is. Put a one in the chat if you disagree that anything that is on your screen is not the dark market. Because and these are the things that I could think of right then and there. I'm pretty sure if there are some things that you could add to the dark market, go ahead and put it in the chat. Put a fire emoji in the chat if you agree with me on the YouTube side that this is the dark market. This is where we are. And a lot of the dark market has become mainstream, right? And so what I'm trying to do when I came up with this graphs, you know me and my graphs, I said in my mind, I want women to understand that a lot of this is going to pull you down into the dark market. A lot of the things that you see on social media, the conversations that are being had, the videos, the viral videos, a lot of that is all about how women show up in the dark market. A lot of people, a lot of men try to sound wholesome and try to sound like they want marriage, but when they really are showing up in the dark market, and the way we know that is because a lot of their language is centered around sex. So, in my mind, I wanted to create a visual that shows what's going on in my mind. When I look at professionally and as a mother and as a woman, this is what I see in the market. This is basically uh professionally. At the bottom, you see about 60%. These are the never married women that probably would never be married. And I know that triggers a lot of women, but if you're listening to me, that's not you. Okay. If you're listening to me or have listened to several of my videos, you follow me and things like that, you work with me, that is not you. All right. So stop panicking. But there are a lot of people that this categorizes them. This is their and they're in the bottom 60, not because it's they made mistakes and they're forever resigned to the bottom 60. That's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is the bottom 60 is they're there for various reasons. It could be they don't want to be married. It could be they've been married before and they don't want to do it again. It could be they like women. It could be they just don't like men. It could just be they like being single. It could just be they're too. They feel like they're too old. They've decided they don't want to be married for whatever reasons. So I don't categorize all of these women one way because it's way too nuanced to say. And this is a very generous number. I do think the never married list is larger than 60%, but I'm just going to leave it at 60%. Um, 30% of women, that's mostly the women that I'm talking to. These are women that want marriage, but they need to tweak a few things, a couple of things, maybe one thing. They need guidance to figure out what that is. I'm here to kind of shorten their singleness. I'm trying to get to the bottom line of why you were single so we can fix that and move on. I've even shared with you, I got a coach, a mentor. Also, I got a man and a woman, and I needed help. And come to find out, I needed them because the things that I was working on was not the things that actually was keeping me from being remarried. The thing that I thought was my problem was not my problem, but I needed someone else that understood relationships dynamics to point that out to me. And they helped me figure it out. I moved on. Boom. When that issue came up with my now husband, when we were recording, that issue came up. I totally smashed it. And here we are. I'm married now. Phineas Henshaw, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. For the tip jar and Dusty tax, uh, buenos dias. Good morning. Thank you, Phineas. I appreciate that. Listen, to the good brothers out there, I roll out the red carpet for you. I love you all. Look, I look, keep on shining. We need you, okay? But to the rest of y'all, I'm dragging y'all today, flat out. This heat's for you, okay? So listen, there's nothing wrong with getting a mentor. Nobody on your wedding day is going to be like, girl, did you work with this Miss Nicole? You owe her everything. Says no one ever. They're going to all be focused on you and your day. And they're going to be like, she did it. She got him to marry her. That's what everybody's going to be focusing on. Not me, not your coach, not your mama, not it, not the child. Nobody's going to be focused on that. So what I tell women is, look, how long do you want to stay single? And this is not an urgency thing, but it kind of is because for me, being single was more expensive than being married. But hey, to each his own. But I mostly speak to the 30% because that's what I'm here for, to help you narrow down what's keeping you single, knock it out the park so you can go ahead and get in the top 10%, which I believe is a generous number. I think it's actually less than 10% of women are ready to get married tomorrow. If a man walked up to her, she knows how to identify him, she knows how to vet him, she knows how to show up, she can get to the promised land without any coaching. I would say about 5%. And I only say that because our society is just so warped. I don't blame women for that. I don't think it's all women's fault, which is why I'm dragging men today. I do believe that a lot of this is men's fault as to why we don't see more marriages. And I think that it's unfair that women get blamed for every single thing. So keep those graphs in mind. I'll be bringing those up from time to time. Keep those graphs in mind when I go back and I talk about the marriage market. When we talk about the marriage market over here, a lot of things that we say is taken to the other conversations that are talking about sexual market and dark market. Let me give you an example. When we talk about where's our video? Okay. When we
Guys,
um
welcome.
when we talk about um 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 um, providers. Now, I told my audience we no longer say that word. I told you what we say, so that the people that are in the other markets reveal themselves, because we need to differentiate ourselves from women that are in the dark market and the sexual market, aka dating market. We don't say provider. Let them say that so they can be clear about where they stand in the market. We say something else. You all that have worked with me, you know what we say. All right. And when you join the Future Wives Club, I will tell you everything that we say so that we're on the same page. We need to circle our wagons around each other. I'll talk more about that later. So when we say provider, that message or that word has been misappropriated from traditional women who depend on their husbands 100%. That word has been hijacked. When we say provider, that's in tandem with protect and provide, not necessarily take us on a date and pay our bills, or take us on a date and pay our rent and our mortgage and take us on trips and things like that. That has been misappropriated to this market, the sexual market and the dark market. And so when they say provider, I need a provider, that's what they mean. But when we say provider, protector, husband, and things like that, we're saying that within the context of marriage. And that's why a lot of spaces are now trying to throw marriage in there to make it not look like it's a part of the dark market and the marriage market. I'm sorry, the dark market and the sexual market. And so some of the things that I say seem to sting a lot of times because I want it to sting. I want the 40% or women that I'm talking to. I'm not talking to the bottom 60. The 40% of women that I'm talking to, I want it to be clear that we move differently. We show up in the marriage market differently, and it's clear what we do. And the reason why I'm saying that is because men will lie. This is another hypocritical stance that men will take, is that all you all look alike, all you all sound alike. Point taken. That's why we don't use provider anymore. We don't say 50-50 anymore. I told you what we say now so that it's clear that's what they're talking about. We over here, when we say things like that, that's what we mean. So we don't have to be on the defensive. Well, all of y'all look alike, which we don't. But that is the argument that they used. Thank you so much, TB, for the $5 super chat. I need help because sometimes my language can be bad sometimes. If I'm talking about certain things, out curse, I hate it, and I catch. Yeah, I get it. I understand. Look, it's not about being perfect, because you're going to have your ups and downs, but that's why you need us in the Future Wives Club. Go ahead and get with us now. Join the membership while it's $47. You need us. We need to circle our wagons around each other. And the women that are in the dark market, in the sexual market, it needs to be clear that they're in the bottom 60. Ladies, I just need to help you understand something, that if they're in the dark market, they're the bottom 60. I know that's triggering to some women, that hurts their feelings, but that's flat out what it is. That's where we're at. So when I see women that are in the marriage market and they're showing up like they're supposed to be, they're showing up like men have said they wanted women to show up, and men are literally ignoring them. I have a real problem with that, because now you're literally letting us know you're hypocritical. So let's start out with her video. Um, and I added my husband in. He should be in the audio. And I'm going to put the link in the chat for others that want to join. Go ahead and get set up. The link is in the chat for my mods. Shout out to the best mods on YouTube. Thank y'all. Lovely ladies, lovely elite ladies. If you have a question that you want me to answer real time, go ahead and hit the super chat for me so I make sure I don't lose it. She said, is there a special code to get the discount to join the membership? Yes, it's a special link that's only good for this live. Because if you go on my beacons, it's a different price. If you go on my Instagram, it's a different price. That's for the general public. But because you're joining me live, it's $47, y'all. $47, and you get access to the app. Y'all, what? When you get on the app, you're going to be excited because it's just so much. I just don't want to bog this live stream down with everything that's on the app. You can download it and take a look around to see what's available on the app right now. It's available on Apple and Google. As far as I know, we are the only app in the world that literally prepares you to be a wife, prepares you for high society, prepares you for the level up in business. I'm teaching you all how to start a business. Like, we're doing it all. Um, so Oh, okay. So while we're watching her video, and hopefully my husband will chime in, I'm going to go ahead and give you a different link. Okay, sweetie? So sit tight. I'm going to refreshing the links, and then we're going to get started. Let's go.
Welcome back to the Amani Talks podcast. You're here with your host Amani on the podcast where we discuss our Christian-based topics and deepening our relationship with the Lord. So before we get started, I am going to ask everyone viewing this video and all of our new people here, hey boo, to go ahead and like, subscribe, comment, share, do all that good stuff to help get this video out there and help our channel grow, because we are a little community in here. You know, I'll be real active in the comments, sometimes a little too active. Okay, I got to tone that back. But yeah, go ahead and subscribe, be a new subscriber, join our community. Also, while you're subscribing, you should head over to the website, amaniwortham.com. That's where I post everything. You can join our weekly newsletter as well. I send
Fair use, Amani. Don't strike my channel. Fair use. I'm on your side, girl. So Fair use. Let's go.
out a weekly email that talks about the new Bible study that I'm going to be starting in Atlanta, a Christian girls meetup, a little something every week. I will be putting out the details of that this week. And also, just announcing it, we also have an upcoming Christian women's trip, a Christian girls trip to Bali. I am partnering with Lux Tribes, and they are taking me and 10 other women to Bali this summer. It's a time of fellowship, Christian women, and there can be people that maybe feel a little down around Valentine's Day because they've been single and they've been single for so long, and they're waiting on the Lord to reveal their future spouse, and they're waiting on God to fulfill these romantic kind of relationships that all of us want in our lives. And I know that there are so many videos out there, and I've done these videos too because it's very true about waiting on God and about using your singleness for a purpose. But honestly, sometimes you just get sick of that message. Like, I'm tired of being told to wait. I'm tired of being told, well, use your singleness. And I'm just like, I've been single. I'm using my singleness, and I still want romantic love, and there's honestly nothing wrong with that. But just because you're tired of hearing it, sis, does not make it any less true. Like, yeah, do we get tired of that same message? Oh, wait for your spouse, wait on the Lord. Yeah, who wants to wait? Like, one thing about me, I'm impatient, y'all. Like, I am impatient. That's why I cannot leave the house after 4 p.m. in this Atlanta traffic. I left the house one time to go to Target. It was 4 p.m. I had traffic right outside my doorstep. I literally left my apartment building, got down the street. I made a U-turn, came right back home. No, I can't do it. I am that impatient. I cannot even wait in traffic, y'all. So I get it because I don't like to wait. Who likes to wait for the things that they want and they feel like they deserve out of life? Because we know while singleness is a gift, Jesus himself said it's a gift, but not, it's for a select few. Most of us are not going to be able to carry out our lives completely devoid of romantic love, completely removed from marriage and children. Most of us do want that. And sometimes Valentine's Day can be a hard reminder of what you don't have. And even just last week, I was really in my quiet time with God, and I was really praying, and I was really frustrated, y'all. Like, I was really frustrated because I went on a date last week, and it wasn't even really, I mean, it was a date because
All right, so before she gets into that, I do want to say this really quick. I did update the link to the membership, so you should be able to see that now. Mods, use this link. That's the special offer for, and I did even title it special offer for the $47 early bird to the membership. All right. Hold on. I'm trying to do two things at one time. I do want to say this really quick. You are not wrong for wanting to be married and have a family. That's another narrative that gets on my nerves. It really does irritate me. A lot of women that are in the bottom 60 want to shame women for wanting to be married. I never let women shame me for wanting to be married, and that's why you need me, and that's why I'm getting the Future Wives Club together. I'm going to stop being lazy, and I'm really going to show up for you all. You really need support because a lot of spaces on social media is really about beating you down for wanting to be married, beating you down for wanting to be a wife and have a family. And I'm really kind of sick and tired of that. But it now, if you wanted to get out here and shake your thing, they have no problems with that. But if you say I want to be a wife, I just want to, have a husband and I want to have some children and have a family, then all of a sudden this all these questions and this is shaming. And I really think it's kind of retarded. Started to say another word. I really think it's kind of stupid. I think these people are kind of slow, and it's really kind of like the bottom 60 shaming women because they feel some type of way, and they kind of admire the fact that you're staying 10 toes down on the fact that you want family. And I'm here to tell you there's nothing wrong with that. What else should you be doing? They don't shame you when you say you want to put your career first. So why did they shame you when you want family? And that's another reason why I think it's demonic. I think it's demonic. And a lot of this comes from women in the church. Um, a lot of it comes from women in the church because a lot of women in the church are professional, and I don't know if they're doing it on purpose, but a lot of times they do not support women who want to get married and start families. If they don't want to be boss chicks, which I don't even know why that's even a term used in the church anyway, because that's not where it belongs. But Phineas said the men get slammed too. Exactly. I think it's kind of kind of fishy as to why it's always this negativity towards women, especially younger women who say they love God, who say they want to be whole and save their bodies until they get married. And there's always this second guess. But if a woman came online, if this young girl came online, had her breast displayed, she had on a dress that looked like she came from the club, if she looked like she was getting ready to turn up, there would be no second questions. No, anything she said, people would support. But because she's saying she's wholesome, she loves God. I announced before I came over here, I said, look, there's this wholesome girl, she's attractive, and she's this, and they immediately had my head on a pattern. What does she look like? What's she talking about? Oh, she's fake. Oh, she ain't no virgin. Oh, she did. Immediately before I even described her, and I said, just wait till 1 o'clock till you can see the video, and they were already getting ready to jump down our throat. That's why I'm dragging men today, because you're hypocritical. She is the type of woman that you all said you wanted. Why is she single? I don't care if she's in Atlanta or Timbuktu. It shouldn't matter. If you're looking for a wife in Atlanta, she should be taken. Period. This is what you said you wanted. But it seems like the women that are wholesome, that are absolutely trying to be what you asked her to be, or just be a good woman, it seems like they get drugged more than the bottom 60. And I feel like a lot of these conversations on social media are about the bottom 60. They're literally about the women at the bottom. I'm sorry. It's about the women that don't even like you. They're not attracted to you. They don't want you, any parts of you. They just want to, use you. And I think a lot of these conversations are about those women because they are obsessed with subjugating those women. But I'm gonna let my husband go into deep into that when he gets ready um to say that. But I just feel like I want to pour into women that are godly, or trying to show up in the marriage market the best she could do, best she could be. She's not perfect, but she's trying. She loves God. She has a relationship with God, and she's trying. I just want to pour into you. I've been there, done that, where it was Netflix on a Friday night, and I'm like, God, how long do I have to do this? Because this is crazy. I'm in Atlanta. I could be out. I could take my hair down, put on a dress, and go out. But I know what that leads to, and I want to do it right. So how long I have to do this, God? Because this is crazy. This is wild. Like that guy over, like I had a couple of boyfriends that I could have gone the long distance with, but I knew that ultimately it wasn't in God's will. I would have been forcing it. And I'm like, should I have passed on that? Because it seemed okay, but and and God said, wait on me. And I'm like, well, how long do I have to wait though? This is wild. Why every time I pull up Instagram, somebody else is getting married? Why would I make a post? Somebody saying, well, why aren't you married? Where's your husband? Like, how long do I have to keep doing that, God? Like, like, why does it seem like if we don't have a relationship with you, we seem like we have more fun in life? What's that about? Like, I was really having this conversation with God, and God was like, I need you to be married to me first. Get to know me, have a relationship with me first, and then I can give you the man that you're supposed to have, but you need to show up for me first before you start doing all that other stuff. And I was just like, okay, but how long I got to do that? And the longer I took doing things my way, that's how long it's going to take for God to position you to do the right thing. What I'm telling you is the sooner you can get into your purpose and what you're supposed to do for God, the sooner he can send you who you're supposed to be with. The wait is not supposed to be a long time. We show up, we create a very long time for us to wait because we want things our way. And we'll talk about that too. But this is a special offer for the membership. It is $47. I just want to put that in there because you did ask for that. So I want to make sure you ladies have that. And also the sessions, the 4 sessions, I will offer that now. I will not be offering monthly hourly sessions, private sessions this summer. Probably the rest of the year because I got stuff to do. I have a lot to do. So if you're not already working with me, I will not. I just can't. So let me go ahead and pin that comment to the top So you all know. Let's get back into it. She's talking about how she went out on a date. Let's get into it. And hubby, if you're listening, just come off mute whenever you're ready. All right, let's go.
Last week, I was really in my quiet time with God, and I was really praying, and I was really frustrated, y'all. Like, I was really frustrated because I went on a date last week, and it wasn't even really, I mean, it was a date because a guy that I know asked me out and we went to dinner. So technically that's a date. But after the dates, I came back fully aware that was a nice time. It was very nice of him to take me out and catch up because we haven't seen each other in a couple years. And this is not my ex, y'all. This is not my ex. This is not my ex. This is somebody else, okay? I was like, it was nice to just go out and catch up. But I came from that date fully aware and understanding that's not my husband. And I was just getting frustrated. I was just like, God, like, when is it my turn? Like, when is it gonna be my turn? And I'm just praying. And what I'm doing right now is I'm reading a Proverbs a day to get through Proverbs because I think that's the only way to tackle Proverbs. It can be very redundant and you start.
So let me go back over what she said. She went out on a date and she did exactly what men tell women to do: vet properly. She didn't waste his time. She didn't drag it on. She didn't make something out of nothing. She didn't get desperate. She said, look, I've determined that this isn't a good match. I think she did well. She was very, very, very mature about that. And I think that that's very big of her to admit that. And she also seemed like she was kind of being open to maybe, let me take a second look. Maybe I was being too picky. Maybe I missed something about him. It did sound like she was kind of giving it a second overlook. And I think that that was really good of her to do that. And she said, look, he's not a good match. That's not going to be my guy. And so hey, I think that that's big of her. Not every guy you go out with is going to be that guy, but a lot of men will say, well, she missed out because she went out on a date and she didn't turn him down. She was open. This isn't part 2. I'm redoing it because I'm doing the PG version so we could stay up. Right. And I'm going to really drag y'all this week. A lot of things I didn't say last week, I'm going to do it now. So, a lot of men tell women that they should choose better, and she did do that. So we can't come back again and say, well, it's her fault she's single. No, it is her job to guard her heart and protect herself and not be so desperate to get into any relationship just because he asked her out on a date. So she did the right thing. Yes. Right. So she's talking again about getting into the Bible, and let's go.
And I was really praying and I was really frustrated, y'all. Like, I was really frustrated because I went on a date last week and it wasn't even really, I mean, it was a date because a guy that I know asked me out and we went to dinner. So technically that's a date. But after the dates, I came back fully aware that was a nice time. It was very nice of him to take me out and catch up because we haven't seen each other in a couple years. And this is not my ex, y'all. This is not my ex. This is not my ex. This is somebody else, okay? I was like, it was nice to just go out and catch up. But I came from that date fully aware and understanding that's not my husband. And I was just getting frustrated. I was just like, God, like, when is it my turn? Like, when is it gonna be my turn? And I'm just praying. And what I'm doing right now is I'm reading a Proverbs a day to get through Proverbs because I think that's the only way to tackle Proverbs. It can be very redundant and you start just reading and you're not even grasping what they're even saying in the chapter because it can get, like I said, very redundant. So I think a good thing for you to do when you're trying to tackle Psalms and Proverbs is just break it up, girl. Do a couple a day. That's really the way that you're going to get through it. But I was trying to read Proverbs and I couldn't even read it, y'all. Like, I was just so frustrated. I was just so mad. And I'm literally sitting there and I'm praying to God and I'm telling him, God, I'm mad. Like, I really am mad. When is it going to be my turn? I have been waiting. And one thing about God, You ask him a question, you tell him how you're really feeling, like you're just laying all your feelings out there, he gonna point you back to scripture, right? And that's why it's so important to, when you pray, read. When you read, pray. They really go hand in hand, because praying is how you talk to him, and reading his word is how he talks back to you.
So what I will say here, let me stop this. Because a lot of men in the church, and hubby, are you tuned? Are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm
Jump
here.
in there when you get ready. But I feel like some people, some men in the church, will date, will fuss at the women in the church and then date outside of the church, and then come back and fuss at the women in the church because their relationships outside of the church didn't work.
But that's exactly what it is. Again, see, people keep thinking, and I'm going to be a bit subdued this week, so um, I'm not going to do or say what I would normally say. But the people that are in the church come; those are the people that are in the world. The people that are in the church are the people that are in the world. And what you have here is that the guys that are in the church are dating women outside the church because the church is a judgment. The church is a compass as to what they should be doing, even though they know that there's a commandment or that there's a rule against fornication. That doesn't stop them from wanting to fornicate, even though that they know that there's a rule against uh, adultery. It doesn't stop them from committing adultery, even though they know there are all these rules. And the people in the church, for the most part, are breaking these rules. The women that they want and the women that they're after are not. The women that they want in the church are talking like they're in the church and not in the world. Unfortunately, that's what it is. See, everyone else wants to be dishonest, and I'm kind of tired of dishonesty. I just wish everyone would just be honest about what it is they want. But see, if they're honest about what it is they want, they know that conversation will be over very quickly. So when you said, well, they want these women to choose better, they don't want these women to choose better. They want these women to choose them. That's what it is. And they don't have much use for a woman in the church unless they can corrupt her sexually, unless they can subjugate her sexually. Then they're interested in her. The old proverbial freak that plays the church organ or church piano, or the church pianist or the church musician. They don't mind about that as long as she's sexually open, as long as she's sexually promiscuous. They
Are
don't have
these
an
guys in
issue
the
with that.
church doing this?
These are the guys in the church, and that's the thing though. I think that there's a misunderstanding. I think the church is no different. I'm going to say this, and I have to say this. Now, I can't be up here too long because I have to go. The church is really like the dating scene in the church is like the dating scene in the club. I mean, do you really want me to be honest? The dating scene in the church is like the dating scene in the club. And what it really is that the most attractive women in the church are getting with the most influential and status prone guys in the church, or guys that can do something for them. It's no different than the club scene. And so what's happening is you have a lot of guys in the church that are non-select and they're unattractive, and so they're left out of that. They're left out of that dating lottery. You have a lot of non-select dudes that their lips and their tones and their gums are two-toned and look like a Neapolitan ice cream sandwich. They have rest stops between their teeth and whatnot. And the thing is that the women are just not; those women are just not attracted to them, and they're carrying on the same practice that they do in the clubs in the church. It's literally the same thing. Just because it's the church, that doesn't mean that the dating hierarchy doesn't apply. That doesn't mean that the dating hierarchy is somehow void because we in the eyes of God. No, people are still doing the same thing. So who's going to get the action inside the church? Well, Deacon Vernon's going to get the action inside the church. Deacon Vernon's going to get the action inside the church because he has that longshoreman retirement pension check that comes on the first of the month. He has that $8,000, $9,000 retirement pension. And that's useful. They can do some things like that. The pastor, of course, that goes without saying. He always going to get some action. He's at the top of the list. And then there's the church drummers and musicians and guitarists and whatnot. So they're still continuing what they're doing, quote unquote, in the world. And so a lot of the unattractive dudes in the church are left out. And so because they're left out, they're going back out here in the streets. They're going back out here to the K9. They're going back out here to the cut them up and shoot them up. And they're looking for the women out there because they can't compete even inside of the church in the eyes of the Lord. So it's not that they weren't in the church. It was that they couldn't even compete in the church, because the truth is a lot of guys are throwaways. And that's the fact of the matter. A lot of guys are throwaways. They're not going to be chosen by women, the women that they want. Let me say that. A lot of guys are not going to be chosen by women that look as attractive as this young lady here with her clothes on. She don't want them either. Because to a certain extent, attraction does matter. It may not be the driving factor, but it does. So the dudes that could have a woman in the church is not attracted to the woman in the church that's attracted to them. Everybody's lining up to try to dirty this girl up, and she don't want to be dirtied, and especially by you. She doesn't want to be smutted out by you. And that hurts for a lot of guys to accept that. That hits a lot of guys really raw when you tell them, look, you're just not it, or you're not it with that girl. And they have a problem accepting that. So it's not that they skipped over the church. They went to the church and they got rejected, and they went out in the streets, and the rejection doubled when they got out in the streets. Or what happened is that you run into a chick in the street who's overtaxing them. You run into a chick who's taxing them and not even giving them any goods for the taxes. So they're just shut out of the market altogether, and they're frustrated. So the only thing they know to do is use the moral barometer, or use the moral stick of the church, the moral billy club of the church, to try to intimidate women into sleeping with them for free. So they'll fall back on this concept of, you never gonna get married. Well, you didn't want to get married anyway, and you know it. You're not interested. In the clubhouse room earlier, the guys in the clubhouse room were saying, we love harlots. That's what they were saying. We love harlots. But then these are the main Negroes that are turn around and talk about how promiscuous a woman is. These are the main Negroes that are turn around and talk about how high her body count is. These are the main dudes that will turn around and try to police this woman's vagina as to who she's sleeping with, when, where, how, and what she's giving them. So what this is, none of this is about marriage. All of this is about sex. And if you're in the dating market, sex is a premium commodity. And with that premium commodity, there's a cost. Either you're going to pay that cost, or you're going to shut up and leave. And a lot of dudes just want to stand in a woman's face and scream about why they shouldn't have to pay that price. They want to be able to stand in a woman's face and scream about why they shouldn't be taxed. They want to be able to scream and stand in a woman's face about why she should not have overlooked them. And even if it's the case, here's the killing part. I heard them in that room earlier, and they were talking about, when you said the 60%, and what you didn't say, and what I wanted you to say was this: it's 60% because a lot of them are single mothers. And those guys have said flat out the single mothers are for recreational sex only. See, so when they say 60%, what they really mean, when you say 60%, you mean those that don't want to get married. The truth is, when they say 60%, they like the 60% because it's single mothers, and it increases their chances of getting laid. No trick, no good. You still can't get laid even with the 60% of single mothers. You're a sexual reject. You're a dating market reject. You can't even get on with the single mothers with 4 kids. Yep, you still have to bring cheeseburgers, fries, and soda for her kid. You still have to bring 10 Happy Meals, or 5 Happy Meals, or 4 Happy Meals for all of her children. Yep, you still have to look after the children. You don't get to come in here and just lay up with me and do what the attractive guy would do on a dirty mattress with no sheets. You still have to pay. And that's what they have a problem with, the lack of organic attraction. And then it becomes, let's check the science. Let's check the science. Well, attraction is a science. There is a science in physical attraction, but nobody wants to talk about that science because they know that they're on the wrong end of it. So men want to use morality when it comes to sex, but then want to use sex when it comes to morality. So, in other words, if you say, well, I should be able to kick the ties, I should be able to kick the ties before I marry. Oh, you mean you should be able to lay up and nest under her before you get married? You should be sexually validated before you get married, because that's really what you're saying. You want the right to lay up under her and sample her, but you never intend to get married. You're just trying to assuage that desire you have to feel like you're a player, but you're not a player, you're a payer. In this category, in the dating market, there are two categories. There are players and payers, and most dudes are going to be payers, and that is what a lot of men deeply resent. They resent the fact that they're payers, even if it's the bonnet wearing, the chick I call Bonetta, even if it's the black and mild smoking, black lip sporting, bonnet, Tweety Bird slipper wearing, dirty pajamas, chick in the hood. They don't like that she can tell them no. So you even have to pay her. You even have to stand in line for her. You are in her rotation. And newsflash, you're not at the top. You're not at the top, and you
But
may
these are
not
the
even
same
be.
men that said they wanted a wife, though.
They don't want no wife. I done told you that. I done told you to stop listening to that. That's not what that is. That's nothing but a stick. It's a means to it's a mean to bludgeon them. It's a way to bludgeon them over the fact that you're a single mother. You're a single mother, so you should sleep with me for free. You're a single mother, you struggling, so you should sleep with me for free. You should give me fellatio for nothing. You should do all these things for nothing. I should be able to slut you out anytime I get ready. And if you're unattractive, you sure enough should open up for me, because that means when I can't get the harlots that I want or the harlots that I'm used to, I should be able to come back and take out all of that anger and aggression sexually on you in the bedroom to assuage my wounded ego.
So they
That's what
come
that
back.
is.
So they come back to women like Amani, who are trying to do the right thing. The 40%.
But Omani don't want them. That's the painful part. Amani don't want them. And that's what she won't come out and say. Omani doesn't want them either. Yes, I get the fact that she's looking for a godly man, but truth be told, Omani is a woman and she got eyes too. And she has a rank with men too. And if you get with her and she finds you physically appealing, she is not going to check for you either. That doesn't mean that she's exclusively looking for an attractive man. That doesn't mean she's exclusively looking for a guy of the Derek Jackson phenotype. What it does mean is you don't make her cut physically. So no, you don't even qualify for the church girl. You don't even qualify for the church girl. You don't even qualify for the overweight choir soloist. You don't even qualify for her. She don't even want you either. She'd rather
Who?
have Deacon Vernest than have you. She would rather have anybody than have you. That's the fact of the matter. So now you want to come back to her and you want to ridicule her faith because you want her to be easy. You want her to be an easy lay. You want her to be an easy orgasm. And
So
she's
as soon as
telling,
she start talking about the Lord, they get turned off and they
yep,
start. The church is keeping you single and all that. That's where that's
yep.
coming from, ladies.
Yep, and it's usually, it's guys like I seen a guy on YouTube. It's this dark skinned dude on YouTube, and he always talking about beware of these dudes that are always talking about women this and women that, and they know women and they understand women. What they're actually doing is they're getting women like Amani. They're getting the strong nickels. They're getting the strong nickels and the steady sixes, and what they're doing is they're playing around with them. But when they approach them with game, they're approaching them like they really want to have a decent and meaningful relationship. It's really on some scumbag stuff. So they approach them as if they're being straight up. They approach them as if they're being honest. They approach them as if they're being on the level. But what happens is they're telling her what she want to hear to get them to sleep with them. And then because again, they know that a lot of women in the church are horny. They know that. A lot of women in the church are horny. So a lot of women will, even in the church, they will grade on a scale. And so they'll say, okay, well, he's halfway decent because we are all human. It's the human condition. They'll say, okay, well, he is halfway attractive. He is smashable. So I can see myself messing around with him. So I will mess around with him. And, the Lord, me and the Lord will just have to work out an understanding some other time. Me and the Lord will just have to figure out. I just say, I'll just go. for altar call. I'll go to the altar call and ask God for forgiveness, but right now I need to get laid. So that woman is the woman that they're playing with. That's the woman that they're telling you about, that they're dragging and dogging. They're not talking about the harlots that they love to lay up with, because the harlots that they love to lay up with is not laying up with them. The harlots that they love to lay up with is really finessing them or calling them at the end of the month, when she's having issues and problems, and a lot of times they're not even able to subdue her at the end of the month. She's finessing them. So they'll tell you how much they love harlots, but then by the same token, they can't keep up with the harlots. They can't keep pace with the harlots because the harlots are faster than they are. So they can't keep up with the harlots, and they're not attractive to the women who are their speed. They're just stuck in the middle and hung out there. So now they have to go out in the streets. They have to go out and get Bonetta, because to them, they stand a better chance of getting Bonetta than they stand of getting Amani. They feel that they can get Bonetta easier because they feel she's more desperate than Amani. And in some cases they're right, but in a lot of cases they're wrong, because even Bonetta has a rotation. So, that's really who they're talking to. So now you can't even talk to the attractive girl. You can't even talk to the attractive girl about sex, because she's Helen Keller to that. She ain't listening to you. She ain't trying to hear what you're trying to say. So the only person you left to talk to is Bonetta. And Bonetta will only hear you if her stamps are low. Bonetta will only hear you if she didn't get her AFDC. Bonetta will only have conversation for you if she's in a crunch and she needs to levy some of these taxes. That's why they're outside of the church, because they can't compete inside of the church. And the church is not keeping anybody single. People are single for their own reasons. Don't put that lie on the church. People in the church are single because they're not attracted to each other. That ain't got nothing to do with God. That ain't got nothing to do with the Holy Spirit. That ain't got nothing to do with devotion. That ain't got nothing to do with the sermon. They're unattracted to each other, flat out. And the ones that are getting together are the ones that are getting together out of utility. They're getting together because each person serves a particular role in the person's life, be it status, be it financial security or sustenance, be whatever, be it random sex, because contrary to popular opinion, people have random sex in the church all the time. The church is one of the freakiest places on earth. But because a lot of people don't go to church, a lot of us don't go to church, and a lot of us have never been to church, we think that there's only one type of man and one type of woman in the church. I'm sorry, that's just not the case.
That's a fact. The days of the moo wearing grease stain woman in the kitchen that has no social life, making church dinners for
Frying
everybody.
the fish and frying the chicken, got flour on her apron, Jerry
That's a
curls is
fact.
dripping, bifocal wearing, LaShawn Pace. I know I've been changed. No, no, that's not the girl. That's not the girl in the church anymore. That's not the woman that's in the church anymore. Women in the church are looking more and more like Amani. And if you want to be real about it, women in the church are looking more and more like the women in the strip club, because they are the same person. These women are coming to church to get services for their children. They're coming to the church to get school clothes. They're coming to the church to help with utility bills, to help with rent, to help with food, to help with all kind of things. So even if they're not in the church, they're orbiting the church. They're church adjacent if they're not in there. So of course they having relations with people in the church. Peter had said, I disagree. For one, there are way more women in than men. Yeah, there are more women than men. That's because the dudes don't go. But that doesn't mean that the church is keeping them single. Also, the singles concentrate on being single and then preparing to get married. They're not constant, they're enjoying being single. It ain't concentrated. They're enjoying having casual sex. So when you say single, that depends on what you mean by single. Do you mean not getting laid? Because if you mean by not getting laid, no, they're not single because they are getting laid. What happens is it's the people at the bottom of the list that are not getting laid. It's the people at the bottom of the list that are coming up empty. Those are the people that are complaining about being single. Everybody else is getting it on and getting it in.
Well, one thing I will say is, and I'm probably going to cut this one short. Ladies, don't never fear. I will drag them every week. We won't just relegate it to this video because the weather is getting bad and I probably need to get off. It's looking real bad up in here in Ohio. All my Ohioans, be safe, y'all, because it looks bad. Anyway, it sounds bad. I'm surprised y'all don't hear it. Being someone being a church girl, and I was a church girl, so I can identify this like really upsets me to see so many people single, and especially the ones in the church, because I've been there. So men can't give me this whole jive about they can't find a wife in the church. The fact of the matter is, some of them, a lot of reasons why a lot of women are so discouraged and they look like the club is a lot of women are coming back to the church because the men are saying you need to clean up and your background and all of these things, so they come to the church to try to reset, so they get beat up for that. So you can't help the fact that they don't look like they've been born and raised in the church. They have some things they need to refine. So that's one reason why women look the way they look. Another reason is because they haven't been completely changed. That's a spiritual thing. The other reason is a lot of women are trying to compete with the women in the streets because the men in the church being hypocritical. Back to y'all, I didn't forget to drag y'all, because when y'all are in church, you're not looking at the women you should be looking to, like my husband said. You're not attracted to her. You want the woman, the 60% of the women that are out in the streets, and you want her to validate you. And then when she doesn't and you get beat up out in these streets, then you come back to the church and then you want to tell the church women how they're not feminine and how they don't the church is keeping you single and you just too churchy and you got to be able to relate to a man. And I think it's hypocritical. You never even started with her. The women in the church are not rejecting you. The fact of the matter is they're doing what you all told them to do. Go to church and get you a husband. That's what they told you to do. That's what they told the women to do. Now they're just telling them just get a man wherever you can. But when I was growing up, it was go to church, do the right thing. A man in church is going to see you. And now there's hardly any men that are there that want a wife. Now, if he's there, he's not even dating anyone in the church. And if I see another pastor who's got a whole flock full of beautiful women and he go get a woman from the streets, if I see that one more time, I promise you, oh my God, I can't stand that. What kind of message are you teaching to the women? They come, they tithe, they give, they support, they build your ministry, and then you go get a woman that hadn't been to church since 1988 Easter. But then you put her over the women so she could give them a complex about themselves because they don't wear tight clothes, they not talking any kind of way. They're like their life is completely different, and you want to um put blame on them like it's their fault. Like it's the hypocrite. Men are the problem. Men are the center of this. Every time I go to the church, it's always women, women, women. Where are the men? Why aren't you there supporting? But you want women to be submissive to you. That is a Christian thing. That is a biblical thing. Why do you even
Well,
want something that doesn't even apply to you?
my thing is you want to use the moral high ground to hold women accountable for marriage, and you ain't even in the church. How does that
That's a
happen?
fact.
How do you want to hold women to this moral high ground that you ain't even participating in? You ain't even on the field. That's why you know it's hypocritical. Because on one hand, they want to tell these women how they're not fit for marriage and how promiscuous they are. Out of one side of your mouth, you're talking about how you hate promiscuity. Out the other side of your mouth, you're talking about how you love harlots, you love floozies and whatnot. So again, they're not interested in that. None of this. The only thing they're trying to figure out is how to get laid quickly, how to get laid quickly and quietly for as cheap as they can. And it's not even all the dudes. It's the rejects of the rejects. There are men in the church that are getting it on and getting it in, but these dudes don't fit in that crew. They don't fit in that crowd. I'm sorry, you can't get mad at women because they're not physically attractive. You got to take that up with God and Mother Nature. That's who you're gonna have to take that up with. You got a beef with God and Mother Nature. You ain't got no beef with these women. That's who your problem is with. And I'm sorry to have to say that, but it is what it is.
But they always give these women a complex about themselves. Oh, you're a single mother. Oh, you're not a size this, you're not a size that. But first of all, why would any woman want to spend time with you? I asked that on another
They don't want to
application
size
and
this
they
and that
couldn't answer
size
the
that.
question. Why would a woman want to spend time with you? Why are you special?
Well, first of all, they don't want to size. They want that big girl. See, they
That's a
want that big girl.
fact.
They want that big girl, but they want to slut that big girl out though. You see, they want that big girl to be nasty because a lot of dudes like chubby women as fetishes, or a lot of dudes will pick chubby women because they feel that they're desperate. The problem is that even with chubby women, they can't even compete with the fat girls. And the reason they can't compete with the fat girls is because the fat girls are usually they're ambitious, they're driven, they're usually educated, so they have more disposable income. And then the hobo, HOBO sexual, has put his bid in, and he's at the front of the line with the big girl. So if she has her own money, she's gonna pick the dude she's attracted to, and she may come back to you after he does what he does to her, but really she ain't interested in even coming back to you then. So as long as she got a little bit of money, and as long as he got a little bit of time and a whole lot of meat, she kicking it with him. She ain't coming back to you. So they can't even get on with the fat girl. They want the fat girl. They can't see if the fat girl looks like Jill Scott, they'll get on with her. And even if the fat girl doesn't look like Jill Scott, and they've heard that her fellatio skills, let me put it that way. If they've heard that her fellatio skills are sublime, if they've heard that they're extraordinary, the girl can be unattractive and they'll still want to get on. If they feel that she's extra freaky, they still want to get on with the girl, even if she's big and unattractive because she's freaky. But when the girl is big and unattractive and other dudes know that she's setting it off, now other dudes are coming and she still has more of an option. She still has more of a rotation. She still
So
has
they're
more
sexual.
access
So they're sexual scavengers, basically. They're trying to get in wherever they can.
wherever they can. But the problem is they're slim pickings. They starving out here. A lot of these dudes that are unattractive, they're starving. They're sexually starving. And because they're sexually starving, a lot of these dudes are going crazy. That loneliness and that lack of companionship, some of it's self-imposed, a lot of it's self-imposed, is beginning to drive them crazy. It is beginning to drive them mad.
But
And
that's
so,
not but that's not the women's fault that they are only focused on
no,
validation
I
from
never
the
said it was.
No, no,
I'm
no,
not
no.
saying
I'm
it's
just making that
anybody's fault.
point. I'm
No,
just
it's
making that point that they come back to the public square and they want to blame the 40%. They want to blame these women right here because they've been chasing the bottom 60. And I'm saying enough's enough. I look, if you get finessed, I want to know how much she get from you. I
But
am no
they're
longer
not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you that. And most of these dudes are defective, and most of these dudes are socially deformed.
that's a fact.
Most they're not socially awkward. A lot of these dudes are socially deformed, so they're not going to be able to get on with any woman, and that's a sad fact. A lot of these dudes that are ones are going to have to be with ones. But the problem is because the women have entered the workforce, they're being turned down by ones and twos. And that really hurts your pride when you're being turned down by a one or a two.
But they're weird though. And they don't have a personality, but they put that on the women that that's their fault. And
Well, they
so
have to put it on the women because it's tough when you're socially deformed and you don't have a personality, because the person does have an ego. They do have some sense of dignity and self-respect. So when you do that, it's sort of like, you remember. I'm gonna say this, and I got to run for about an hour, but I will be back. Do you remember the movie The Nutty Professor?
oh yes.
Do you remember the scene where Dave Chappelle was laying into Eddie Murphy, Sherman Klump?
Right.
You remember that? And you remember how the look on his face when he was just sitting there cutting him up and going in on him.
Right.
And then at the end of the night, when he walked Carla, Professor Jada Pinkett, when he walked her back to the door, and she didn't know what to say. She didn't know how to comfort him or anything. And so, but it was raining, and he didn't even bother covering himself from the rain. He just went home. He just bowed his head and went home. It was as if he wasn't even interested. He didn't even care about his own, his own safety, his own health. It was like he was beneath contempt. He was beneath the grace of God. He was just beneath humanity. And so it was like, what does it matter? That's how a lot of dudes feel. A lot of dudes have that Sherman Klump mentality. It's one thing to be overweight, or it's one thing to be unattractive, but a lot of times these dudes have taken it to the point where they feel that they're beneath love. They feel that they, and that's not through any fault of the women either. They feel that they're beneath love. They feel that they're beneath acceptance. They feel that they're beneath any type of companionship from a woman. And so they're there with that rage and that lust festering and seething in them, and so they don't know a way to get out of that. They don't know a way to cure themselves of that, and so it's difficult for them to communicate that with you, because to communicate that with a woman is to show that they're vulnerable, and they're just not going to take that chance.
Right. Shout out to Amiri up in the building. Amiri Joseph, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much, bro. Listen, I'm trying to be like you one day when I grow up. Listen, I'm a bring this to a close. My husband got things to do, and this weather up in Ohio is not letting up. So I just want to be safe. Listen, I will continue to drag the hypocritical men every week. Don't never fear, ladies. You don't have to like. She's only doing one video like this. No, every time I see hypocrisy amongst the men. I'm going to call it out, and I've been seeing a lot of that lately. Next week, one of my husband's favorite YouTubers, we're going to be talking about one of his videos. And ladies, I want you to see what a good man looks like, what he sounds like, how he talks, how he walks. I want you to see that. Other than my husband, I'm gonna bring some men on here. Amiri's good too, but I'm going to bring some other men on here that you're going to like. And I'm going to dissect his video. You ladies are going to get to see firsthand what I'm talking about.
Well,
Um,
remember now, you extended the invitation, and nobody's taking you up on the invitation, have they? And they weren't going to take you up on the invitation, because what they wanted to do is they want to stay over there where the guy over there will let them center themselves and drag women and do that stuff. See, they always talk about debate, but they really don't know how to debate. What they want to do is, be sassy and lie, sneak diss, like these little corner rats that they're in love with. That's what they want to do, because that's really what they're obsessed with. So no, they didn't come over here, and they were not gonna come over here, and that's just what it is.
Well, I invite, I stand by 10 toes town, the things that I say. And a lot of these things that men say, I've been listening to them in the same spaces, same videos, same content creators. I've been listening to these people, and they're starting to backtrack some of the things that they said. And they're starting to, because now the women are holding their feet to the fire. But more importantly, the men that they low key dissed are now saying, wait, wait, wait. So you blaming us because the women picked us? Look, I have a wife. Why don't you have a woman? Why are you having so many problems getting a woman? I have a woman. What's your problem? Like now it's starting to be some pushback from some of the men. And I'm saying it's just hypocritical. It was never about marriage. You can't use marriage as a metrics of how good of a woman she is when that you don't even want marriage. You're out here talking about the bottom 60, and everybody gets thrown in the bottom 60, and I'm tired of having conversations about the bottom 60, quite frankly. If you're not talking about the 40%, I don't want to hear about the hoe that didn't sleep with you. I don't want to hear it. I don't care how much she got money from you. She finessed you. How much she get? Really? How much did she get? Because I don't care. I literally don't care. If you if she listening to sprinkle and she get all the money from you, so be it. You know why? Because you're stupid enough to mess with her. The Bible tells you not to mess with women like that. The society is telling you. Look at all the celebrities that are being taken down. They keep telling you not to mess with them, and you keep arguing, coming back to the public square and arguing about these women, and you want women like us over here to finger wag at the bottom 60. I'm not doing it anymore. If she finesses you, I just want to know how much did she get. Like when they came to me about Shannon Sharp, I was like, and so what do you want from me? How why should I care at all? I don't care about the race of the woman. That's not the point. The point is he knows better than that. He knows better, and he doesn't care. So if he doesn't care, why should I care? Why should any other woman care? That is, he is a grown man. Let the men figure it out. Every time they get finessed, I don't care. Well, I was married to her and she took all my money. And then when you start asking him questions, okay, where did you meet her? And what kind of woman was she? And what's her past like? Then all of a sudden, well, she has an epiphany. Well, she was just so pretty, and I just wanted to give her a chance. Okay, so you went against your better judgment and all of the wise counsel and made decisions for yourself. And now you want to come back to the public square and you want to drag young women like Amani and other women that are trying. You want to drag the 40% because you couldn't have your way with the bottom 60. No more. No more, ladies. And what I'm saying is, just like when they say to the women, look, you had a baby out of wedlock, so you don't get a second chance with a guy like me. Or you made these decisions when you were young, so you don't get a chance with a guy like me. They are quick to tell you how they will reject you, right? And I'm telling women, you be quick to reject them. Okay, so you are 40 years old and you still don't have X, Y, and Z. You don't get a chance with a girl like me. You don't have X, Y, and Z. You don't get a chance with a girl like me. Um, just as critical as he would be of you, you be critical of him. He does not get to run with the bottom 60 and then come back to the 50 and put his foot down about what he wants. No, you're gonna get what you get. You don't come back to the square, fuss at me, give me a complex about myself because I don't carry myself like the bottom 60 and tell me how I gotta look like her, talk like her, carry myself like her because you weren't able to sexually subjugate her. No, you don't get to do that. You're gonna come back here and you're gonna be a man or you're gonna get on. That's what you're gonna get. You're gonna use the pot or get off of it. I don't care if I'm 45, 55, 25. If you don't want me, there's nothing else to talk about. Don't tell me I need to wear my hair a certain way. Don't tell. You either like what you see or you don't. Get on. That's what women need to start saying. No, you don't get to stay here. No, you're not moving in. No, you're not driving my car. No, we're not sleep. No, no, no. Because remember, you don't like titles. So since you don't like titles, therefore I need my space then. Like, cause I don't like, you can't helicopter over me and hover over me if you don't like titles. See, I need to be free. I need people to know that I am free. I'm available because, like, you don't like titles. You don't get to hold me down and be exclusive. You don't like titles. Notice how the main men that are territorial, screaming about submission, are the main ones talking about I don't do titles. How? You just told me you want me to submit to you and be what? I heard somebody say, well, I don't give you permission. If you get robbed, I'm not if you get robbed, I'm not protecting you because you don't want to give me wife duties. Well, wife benefits. Well, no, that's not how that works. See, wife benefits, I can show you and demonstrate from you from time to time what I am incapable of as a wife. And you as a man should be able to recognize what's a wife and what's not. Because if not, then that lets me know right then and there you're not looking for a wife. You're not ready. You're not ready for the big leagues. You're still playing in Pop Warner. You're not ready. You're not a man. So where's your dad? Okay, where's your daddy? Where's your mentor? Okay, where are the men showing you how to be a man? Because obviously you're not ready for the big leagues. Go back, sit down on the bench, grow up a little bit, then maybe you can get in this game. But right now, I don't have to be a wife to a man that has not married me. What slow bus did you come in on? Just like you don't have to be my husband before we get married, but you do need to demonstrate that you have husband qualities. Absolutely. And if I get robbed and you don't do nothing, block and delete. Why do I even need you? The whole purpose of having a man is to be protected. And you can't even do that. Well, I don't there's nothing else for us to talk about. Like, you're about as useless as I don't know. I don't need you. Hmm? You're about as useless as used toilet paper. I don't need you. You have to go out with the trash. Simple as that, ladies. We have to put our foot down. No more. You don't get to come back to the 30% and fuss at us about how we look, how we talk, how we walk, how we dress, what we do. No, you don't get to do that because you're mad that the 60% didn't fall in line, right? Go conquer her, go yell at them. But you know what? They always come to channels like this or other spaces like this and fuss at women like this, but they never go to the places where they supposed to. Notice when they get in places with the bottom 60%, and we all know the bottom 60%. We all know those spaces. When they go to those spaces, they fall in line. You notice that they real obedient to the women over there. You notice that? They are real obedient. So obedient, they say nothing. They have no argument. They say nothing. They fall right in line. But then when they come to the 30% of the women that's trying, the 30% of the women that would actually want to know what their program is to see if, there could be a connection, Then they want to get all smart and talk with their chest and, oh, look at your hair and you don't qualify. Look at your past and all this. No, no, we're not playing those games. If you ever look at his past or you can tell what his preference is, you let him know, look, I don't know if I should move forward with you because it seems like you have a penchant for a certain type of woman, and that's not me. Pump the brakes. Let him get on the defensive and see what he says. See what he said. Look, I don't know if I should go forward with you because I'm looking and I'm looking at your ex-girlfriend, your ex-wife, the people in fact. I don't know if I'm your cup of tea. I don't know. I don't know because I'm used to dating a certain type of man, and it seems like you're just not. It seems like we're mismatched. And don't say anything else, and see what he says. He's gonna backtrack. He's gonna backtrack, and he's gonna, that little cartoon sound they make in the cartoons when the character is trying to run. He's gonna trying to figure it out with you. Let him figure it out. Let that monkey climb that tree. That's what men need to do. You don't get to come back to the public square and put your foot down about what you desire just because you know I want a husband. Those days are over. No, we're not desperate. I want a husband, but I'm not taking just anything. You need to have accomplished something. You need to be able to say something and do what you say. You're supposed to show up like a man that I can admire and respect. If not, we don't have anything else to talk about. And I don't have to sleep with you before marriage. That's a privilege, not a right. Ladies, recognize I do not have to sleep with you. That is a privilege, not a right. That is a husband privilege, but I don't have to protect you. Well, why do I need to be with a man that can't protect me? That's basic male duties. Even if it isn't a woman that you're dating, you're supposed to protect. You're a man. That's a male duty. It's protection, whether you're married to the woman or not. In public, notice it's men who go, "Hey, ladies, I got you. Let me help you. Let me give you this seat. Let me help you get over this puddle. Let me protect you." If people are eating in a restaurant and somebody comes in to attack the restaurant, it's going to be the men that attack the person attacking the restaurant, not the women. Are you saying that the men have to be dating every woman in the restaurant? That is the most insane, stupid point ever. Men are supposed to protect society. The good men are supposed to protect society from the bad men. So if you are dumb enough to part your lips to say you're not going to protect me, why am I with you? You definitely don't get the panties. You definitely don't get another date. You are block and delete. You are beneath masculinity. I wouldn't even be seen in public with you. A man that says he wouldn't protect a woman. What? Would you protect another man? Like, I mean, what are the boundaries here? Like, please be clear. What are the boundaries here? A lot of guys, you can tell they don't have their dads. And what's even more ridiculous is they are seeking the validation of women, and they are seeking the validation of women through sexual activity. They are starving for love. And instead of them bonding and learning how to bond in a healthy way, they're so fixated with the bottom 60. They're not trying to learn how to love the 30% because, believe it or not, a lot of them are the bottom 60s. So, but the men that are in the 30% that would want marriage, instead of them trying to figure out how do I bond in a healthy way? How do I show up in a healthy relationship so that I can bond and get the love that I want and I deserve? And no, they're so fixated on the bottom 60. So when the bottom 60 finesses you, it is what it is. Well, how much did they get? At this point, I don't even care. I don't. When they said Shannon Sharp got, how much she getting? 10 million? She's not getting 100? Really? Why not more? You can try to make this, oh, this is a railroad because of his race. I don't care. We've told you time and time and time and time again. I don't care. I really don't care. I just want to click on the video and they say she's been awarded X, Y, and Z. That's what I want. I don't care about it. Well, they're railroading him because I don't care. I don't care. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? Look, the women in the 30% and the 10%, when they come with these stupid scenarios, well, I was with her and she broke my heart, and then you find out what kind of woman he was with, just throw up your hands. What do you want from me? Why should I care about this again? Like, why is this important in my life again? Leave them out there on that island to deal with them. Stop cleaning up their mess. For the last week or so, they have been dragging Tracy Ellis Ross about how she's hit the wall and how she had the audacity to choose a younger man. She can choose whatever she wants to. She's in the bottom 60. Why? She's one of those people. She's in the bottom 60 because she wants to be. Okay, she's in the bottom 60. So why are we talking about Tracy Ellis Ross? She's already told you, look, I could give or take marriage. It's not a big deal to me. I just want a YN, a young man that I can have fun with. That's where she is right now. So why is there so much focus on her choices? Why? Why are we talking about Tracy Ellis Ross? But we had been dragging her for filth because she had the audacity to come on and speak how she feels about her present place. Now, do I agree with it? It's not my place to agree with that. That's her life. Is that what I want from her? I don't know her to say what I want from her. What I want from you, young ladies, is to be in a position to get a husband if that's what you want. That's my job. So my thoughts on the matter, it doesn't matter. I'm just telling you what it is. She wants to be in the bottom 60. She could care less what you say about her. But the point is, the men, for those of you listening to the replay, up at this point in history, are dragging this woman because she says she wants a younger man and she doesn't want to get married. The same men are upset that Shannon Sharp got finessed by a younger woman. Okay, so what are we talking about? What's good for the goose? This is what he chose. This is his choice. He's got to live with it. He be a man. This is what you decided. I don't have anything to say about him. It has nothing to do with her race. Has nothing to do with her age. I don't care if he was finessed by a 50-year-old. How much she getting? That's what I want to know. Because you stupid enough to deal with her. So now that you did it, now you want to come back. I love y'all. I'll keep y'all posted. For what? I just want to know how much she getting. I don't care about anything else. I'm making that clear. Ladies in the 30 and the 10%, you don't have to explain yourself to these men anymore. You're not explaining how you live. You're not explaining that you love God. You're not explaining that you live for Jesus. You're not explaining that you holding out until you get married to have sex. You're not explaining that you don't want to have children until you get married. You're not explaining, well, why are you 40 years old and don't have kids? You're not explaining that anymore. Why do I need to explain that? You either want me or you don't. That's where we're at. It's too much hypocrisy on the men's side for you to sit there with your sitting on the other side of the table like you all at. Well, why should I date you? What? Why should you date me? You asked me out. And you want to ask me what I bring to the table? You are dust. Block and delete. The fact that you even said that lets me know you're a loser. Block and delete. You asked me out and then you want me to jump through hoops to please you? No, that's not how this works. You either like me or well, you got 3 kids and you ain't been married. You either want me or you don't. Well, you fat. You either want me or you don't. Well, you 55. You either want me or you don't. Stop explaining yourselves to these men. They don't deserve an explanation. They are all over the place. One minute they tell you they want you to be wholesome, then you tell them you want to wait until you get married. Then they want to come back to the public square. Well, if she doesn't sleep with you, then she doesn't like you. What? Excuse me? You said you have a problem with body count, and then you said she needs to be wholesome. She needs to be marriage material. But then you turn around and tell her she needs to sleep with you by the third date, or if she doesn't sleep with you, then she is playing you. There's something she doesn't like you. Well, which is it? Do you want a wholesome woman or you just want to lay up? I'll take lay up for 200, Alex. These men are full of crap. Stop explaining yourself to them. Stop explaining yourself. You either want me or you don't. And that's how it was with Tony. I didn't even have to get like that with him because I felt like if he wanted to drive from Ohio to Atlanta to get me, that man wants me. It's nothing else. My body, what are you talking about? My body count. So you drove from Ohio to Atlanta to talk about my body count? Are you insane? I knew that man had good sense. He didn't ask me those stupid questions like how many men have you. Are you serious? You ain't got nothing better to do. That's what you ask the bottom 60. because you know the answer and you're insecure because you're fear that you won't measure up, which you probably won't. So then you come back to the 30% and then you want to browbeat her about who she slept with. No, we're not doing that. You asked me out on a date to ask me how many men I've slept with. Are you insane? What is wrong with you? Are you okay? Where is your father? Where's your grandfather in all this? Do you know them? Because you probably need to go back and talk to them. The same way that they talk to you all about your daddy issues, they have mommy issues. What kind of mom is? I would like to meet your mom. Did she talk? Did she teach you how to talk to women? Is this what she taught you about women? Like, just ask them because they are quick to tell you you got daddy issues. So you tell you have mommy issues. This sounds like a mommy issue. And a lot of times when you see their mom, and I'm going to say something real triggering right up and through here, but a lot of times when you see their mom is the bottom 60. So now you know why he's attracted to the bottom 60. That's just what it is. And so when they get with the 30%er, they don't know how to treat her. They don't know how to treat a good woman when they get with her. They want to dog her and run her through the mud. And by the time he feels like you are valuable, he's got one eye, one arm, one leg, in a wheelchair, broke. And then he'll say, you're a good woman, when he can no longer run the streets, lie, scheme, cheat. Then he'll say, you're a good woman. If I go to church one more time, let me tell you, when I go back to my home church, I see it all the time. And I'm going to call it like I see it on today. Every time I go to the church house, it's always some older women who, when I was growing up, all the time I was growing up, I never saw their husbands at church. Never. But when he gets old and sick, she'll get up and she'll testify, yes, bless the Lord. Y'all pray my strength in the Lord. My husband went in for surgery. Y'all pray for us because I gotta go take him to surgery. And y'all pray for me. I gotta have strength to, help my husband do. Now, he never came to church. He's always been in the streets. 9 times out of 10, he was cheating. But she's the one standing by his side, taking care of him in his last days. If I promise you, if I see that again, and I know I will, everything's not just my home church, it's all the churches all the time. And then we go to this funeral, like, who is this man? Who is this man? Harpo, who this man? We don't even know him. He never came to church. He was in the streets. And then she's standing by his side. Y'all know him. Some of them were your grandmothers. Some of them were your aunties. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The church is full of couples like that. All of a sudden, he loved the Lord when he can't walk. He got one eye. Now, all of a sudden, when he was healthy, you couldn't pay him to go to church. Now that he's sick and about to see the Maker in a few years, now all of a sudden he want to go to church. He beat you to the car. What is all that about? Men, you need to get yourself together. And I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna wrap it up. First of all, you have a president in office. He's not necessarily pro family, but he is about pro money. Right now, it's a lot of people making money in the markets, and a lot of you men yelling and screaming at women. I'm looking at you, and in 4 years, you still broke. I'm looking at you like you're the loser. And when it's up, and these women drag y'all for filth, back in the 90s, for you young girls, let me tell you about the 90s, because some of y'all are too young to remember the 90s. In the 90s, there used to be a term called BMW, black men working. Where are the black men working? Oprah Winfrey, all of the talk shows, Donahue, and list some talk shows in the chat. You all know what I'm talking about. All of them had all these dusties, and then Maury came on, and he talked about who's the daddy, who's the pappy, right? But before that, all the women were coming on talking about, I'm a professional woman, and it's hard for me to meet a professional man. Where are the professional men? They were saying that in the 90s. So then the men turned around in the 2000s and said, it's your choice. You're overlooking the blue collar guy. You should be dating the blue collar guy. And I have to admit, I said that too. I said, Okay. Can you hear me? Which part didn't you hear? Donahue, right. Jerry Springer, right. Sally Jesse Raphael. All right. So we had this. Hold on. All right. The storm is messing with my mic. Okay. Okay. Can you hear me now? The storm is messing with me. Okay. Montel Williams. Okay. We're back on. Okay. And so women were saying we can't meet men in our tax bracket. You remember how bad it was? Even in the movies, they were going in on men, specifically in a major way, black men. They were saying that black women kind of were the loudest. I'm not gonna lie. They were going on every show talking about where the BMWs, the black men working. Where are you? Remember that in the 90s, ladies? Okay. Fast forward to 2028, when Trump leaves office, if these men haven't made money, they didn't go back to school to get a trade, they didn't go back to school to get a degree, they haven't gotten a promotion at their job, they don't haven't started a business, that if they are not further than where they were, at least financially, oh, the dragging is going to be worse. You think Cynthia G is bad? Oh, it's going to be 50 Cynthia G's, 50 of them. It's going to be 100 of them. You think Sprinkle Sprinkle is hot? Oh, no, 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 no. It's going to be 100 Sprinkle Sprinkles. It's going to be worse than the 90s. Why? Because this time you should be building, not complaining about women. And all of you men up here screaming and hollering about marriage, this and that, these women are not marriage material. I'm glad you said that. Because in 4 years, if that marriage rate is not increased, and I'm looking at the census for 2030, if that marriage rate has not increased, I'm going in on the men. You know why? Because I already told you how many women are preparing to be wives. And they're going to say, well, all of them in the 30% are not preparing to be wives. Yeah, but it's still more than y'all. And you all control the avenue to marriage, not women. So in order for them to get married, it's got to be you. You have to lead that. And if you all are sitting here saying we're proudly in the dark market, men are proudly coming out and admitting that they want to pay for sex. This is what they're talking about instead of a family. Oh, yeah, I'll support a Sprinkle Sprinkle channel in 2030 if those numbers don't get up. I will support that. I absolutely will. You know why? Because you're supposed to be the leaders. And if those numbers don't get up, if you don't marry these women, it's your fault. It's your fault. I said it. It's your fault. In the church, y'all doing everything but the right thing. Women are even passing on marriage because she can't even stay faithful. She can't trust you past her eyes. Well, it's the man she chose. Wow. Even if she go to the church, she can't get a faithful man. Like seriously. Like if she dates the man that's in the streets, she knows what to get with that. But she can't even go to church and expect you to keep the word of God. She can't expect you to live by the word of God like you claim. This is why a lot of women go into church and come out of church and leave the church because some of these offbeat religions, and you know what they are, standing on the corner and preaching to you about get out of that church and dragging Christianity and stuff like that. The women are susceptible to that. Why? Because the men in the church are all over the place. You either don't like women or you all over the place. Just all over the place. And the men that don't like women are not even in the conversation. It's enough of y'all that you rather sit there and watch NFL that has nothing to do with you instead of going to church on Sunday. But then you want to have take the moral high ground against women? How? How do you get to do that? And if I see another single mother with kids financially outpace a grown man, I'm going to scream. Why is she with 2 kids making more than you? And you have the audacity to tell her what you're not going to put up with. Who are you? Sir, look at your portfolio. Oh, wait, you don't have a portfolio. You have more excuses than you have dollars in the bank. How does she have more money than you. How is this possible? Well, the government gave, I don't know any government that gave anything. They might have helped you. You know why they helped her? Because you weren't there. Because the father walked off. So she should get something. Unfortunately, the taxpayers have to compensate because the daddy is dusty. That's why child support is so cutthroat. They putting them in jail now, as they should. Pay the child support. You made the baby. And then you have some dusty men have the audacity to walk around. They blame the woman if she deletes the baby in the womb, which I'm against. I'm pro-life. But they mad at her if she does that. They mad at her if she has the baby and ask for help. Do you know how dusty you got to be? I know y'all hate that word, but deadbeat. You know how much of a deadbeat you have to be? You mad at her, you say her womb is a graveyard. Now, mind you, you could have been man enough to strap up and not get her pregnant, but you did. Then you blame her because you got her pregnant. It's all her fault. Not 50-50 fault here. It's all her fault. Then when she decides to delete the baby, she wrong, right? You want to take the moral high ground there, even though you probably begged her to delete the baby. Some of y'all do that too. So that ain't mine. I don't know if it's mine. Then she has it. I didn't tell you to have that baby. What a dusty. What a loser. And then if she decides to keep the baby because she doesn't want it to be the taxpayers, she's putting it on the responsibility on the person it should be, the father. So now you still mad at her because she put your dusty behind on child support. What a loser. I want to take a look at your daddy. Was he just like you? Did he raise you to be dusty and a loser? Because all the men that I know are taking care of their children. All the men that I know take care of their children. You are not a man if you make a baby and walk off from it and don't take care of it. I said what I said. You are a loser. You are below dirt. You made a baby. I don't care if it was an accident. You made a baby. Take care of it. That's a man. Be a man. You're a loser. You are a loser. You are below. You are not a part of this conversation whatsoever. You don't deserve respect. And if they put you in jail, what good? Like, you haven't added any value to the community. We're supposed to be out there marching for what? You can't even take care of the children you got. You are a loser. You are beneath dirt. You made that child. You take care of it. You don't have anything to say to these women. Nothing. She can dust herself off, have that baby, have everybody in the community, Miss Jones from next door, the teachers, the people at church, everybody helping her with that baby. She go back to school, get her degree, and she still outperform you. Why is that? How is this possible? She can still outperform you. You are not a man. You are not a man until you can outperform a woman. You don't deserve the title of a man until you can outperform a woman. That's what my daddy taught me. You get up every day. You handle business. And if you don't have any business, make some business. You go get some business. Get off your lazy behind. Get off social media and go produce. And you don't come back until you got something in your hands. That's a man. Telling your wife she need to get out there and work as hard as you. Excuse me, that's why they call it child labor, because bringing a baby into the world is labor. That's why these pregnancies are risky, because they're at work with stress. But nobody wants to talk about that. That's why they are stressful pregnancies, because she's at work suffering. And a lot of women don't even know they're suffering. They're sitting there in pain at work, stressed out, baby in their stomachs. They're not even thinking about the child. But because she got this lazy man at home telling her she got to work as hard as him. Well, excuse me, sir. Your body mass is bigger than mine, and I have a child. My body needs to be healthy to bring this baby in the world healthy. That's why her blood pressure is high. That's why she got fibroids. That's why she's stressed out. She's throwing up all the time at work. She got to take off. Her career takes a dip because she's got to take off for the kids, because you did turn around and tell her, I can't leave my job. You go get little Lisa. Well, Excuse me. So now not only are you going to drag me for working, I also my career also has to suffer. So I can't move up the career ladder as fast as I would like to because I have to take off work. A lot of companies, I worked in the legal field, and a lot of times they'll let you do what you want. A lot of these law firms, I'm just talking about the legal field. A lot of times they'll let you do what you want, literally work whatever kind of hours you want, split shifts, anything but night shift. These law firms will pretty much let you do whatever depending on your duties. But when it comes to promotion, when it comes to bonuses, when it comes to things like that, they look at you weird. And you know why. You're not getting any of it. You're not getting favoritism. You're not getting the work up. You're not getting to work on that special project. We got a special client, a special lawsuit. You don't get that special project because, and you know why. They won't even tell you. You just won't get it. And that's what a lot of women live with. And they haven't even calculated. That's why they're unhappy because they're with a man telling her, in order to be with me, you need to work just as hard as me. Well, nigga, I don't need you. How about that? I don't need you because taking care of your house is enough work. Taking care of them blockhead kids of yours is enough work. Taking care of your home, being healthy for you is enough work. Why do other people get this? But non mediocre, below performing men, they don't get simple things like family. And what you're going to see, what I told my husband last night, we were in the bed. I took my magnesium. I was winding down, baby. And I looked and I saw this TV show. I can't even tell you the name of it. It was on Netflix. Ransom something. It's a cowboy picture and it's romance. And then there was another picture that came out that's on Netflix, and I can't remember the name of it. Worker man, worker something. Anyway, and I told my husband, I said, you see what's happening. You see what Hollywood is doing, right? With Yellowstone and pictures like that. You see what's happening, right? What's happening, ladies, is it's a shift. And what some men are doing, the F-150 boys, you know what I'm talking about. Lacey know what I'm talking about. The F-150 boys. The F-150 boys are saying we want our women back. You're not happy. I'm not happy. Let's get ourselves together and let's get back on track. So they have TV shows to highlight the blue collar man. You're going to see movies highlighting the blue collar men. I'm telling you, ladies, blue collar men are coming back in style. You're going to see a lot of movies heavy on the outdoorsman, heavy on farming, heavy on equestrian, heavy on blue collar. You're going to see, watch my words, watch what I'm telling you in the next few years, especially while Trump is in office. You're going to see a heavy emphasis on the worker man, the man's man, the brawn. You're going to see a lot of that. And what those guys are telling you is like, hey, ladies, you want that feminism? That didn't work for you. We out here trying to be playboys. That didn't work for us. Come on, let's get ourselves together and get our families back. And that's what we need to be doing. And anybody that's talking against that, you're in the bottom 60, period. End of discussion. That's okay. You live your life, but we're not a part of that discussion. And any men that insert themselves in the discussions about marriage, I don't want to hear it. What are you doing? Where's your wife? Where's the woman that that you are providing for and protecting? Otherwise, I don't have anything to say to you. And every marriage will be different. Every man won't be 100% provider. I get that. I understand everybody's dynamic is different. Everybody's story is different. I just want you women to be aware of what that looks like, because a lot of you go in there with good faith. He's going to do his part and I'm going to do mine. And he doesn't do his part. And you end up stressed out, overused, and abused. And here comes the cortisol, which puts on weight. That's the food pod that he's complaining about. Like, you don't look like how you looked on my wedding day. Well, I wasn't stressed out when I married you then. Like, I hadn't lived with you then. Now I live with you and I know what it's like to be with you. And that's why I'm stressed. That's why I have a food pod, because it's called cortisol. Cortisol comes from stress. And you are stressing me out. That's why a lot of these marriages are not working out, because these men promise, yeah, 50-50, 50-50. I'm going to do my part and you do your part. And then you get married and the babies come and he's not doing his part. So you people that talk about traditional wives and things like that, that's a reality of it. And everybody's not going to be a traditional housewife. I got that. I understand that. But ladies, if you're going to go in there as a dual income household, you better negotiate who's doing what. All the way down to who's putting up the toilet paper and who's folding the towels. It seems menial and it seems picky, but I promise you, when you get married and you just assume that if you see some towels that need to be folded and you assume he's gonna do it, you're going to get a rude awakening. You assume he's going to wash the dishes or at least put them in the dishwasher. You assume he's going to do it. You assume he's going to help. Okay. And you'll remember this conversation when Miss Nicole told you to negotiate. And he's going to tell you whatever you want to hear. Yeah, baby, I'm going to help you. Like, what kind of man am I to come in the house and I see some dishes in the sink and I don't help out? Oh, he's going to promise you everything. You know what Tony and I did? We wrote everything down. I'm still searching for my notebook because I remember the day. I remember it was a Saturday night, and we were literally marriage negotiations. And I said, "Well, this is what I'm good at, and this is what I want to do. And some months I will hire help around the house, and most months I won't. I'll just do for myself. I want to decorate. I want to do this and that. But will you do X, Y, and Z?" And I wrote it down. Tony, he's going to take out the trash. I don't take out trash. I do not take out trash. I do not take out trash. I wrote it down. And we don't have a problem there. I think he got frustrated with me because I think it was overflowing. I was cooking and cleaning. You know, when you cleaning and cooking, all of that stuff. And he came in and before I could, he was like, okay, I just need you to tie it up for me. And I was like, because if I start taking trash out, then if I do it one time, you'll expect me to do it another. That was a boundary. And he knew, okay. So then I said, okay, if he's taking it out, I can at least tie it up. So that was a negotiation, but it was clear that he was going to take out the trash. And I said, okay, I can at least tie it up and make it a little tidy. But I mean, I was busy, I got caught up, and I didn't do it. And I said, okay, from now on, I will make sure that it's tied up and at least taken and put aside. So all he has to do is grab it and take it out. But he's still taking out the trash. Do you understand what I'm saying, ladies? We got so particular about who, like everything. I have not seen a bill. That's something I negotiated. But also, he does not cook. I get offended when he goes rummaging in my kitchen. Go sit down. I will fix it. That is something we negotiated. You do not cook. You do not do laundry. I do not like men doing laundry. Oh, they never do it right. Excuse me. And they just throw the clothes all up. Just no. That's one of the chores I like. I laundry is fine with me. I just don't like it piling up. And no, excuse me, stay out of my kitchen. Please, even if it's a nice snack, I will get up and get it. Cause men, they start rummaging, it's crumbs. They move stuff, and it just no. I'll get it. What you want? You want some popcorn? What you want with it? What you want? You want some warm it? Okay, I got it. Just don't, please, stay out of my kitchen. I put the snacks in a place when he doesn't have to go rummaging. When he goes to the pantry, I'm like, no, no, sit down. I got it. What do you need? I get it. Please stay out of my kitchen. I will get it because he'll put stuff other way. And that's just something we negotiated. But the flip side is I've never seen a bill. Like I might know what the company is, but I don't thanks for your membership, baby. Um I don't see a bill, but I make sure he does not have to do laundry. I am not gonna do that trifling mess where he has to dig down in the clothes hamper and find his shirt and socks. That's trifling. I put that stuff up. Ladies, don't feel bad if you working 8 hours a day and you barely got the laundry washed. Okay, you got the laundry washed. Okay, you got the laundry washed. That's where you all are right now. But if you're at home all day, that's trifling that your husband has to dig down in that hamper trying to find clothes. Your socks behind the washing machine. No, he should have his clothes folded up and in the dresser where he can find it. And it should be situated to where he can just grab it, hang his stuff up, iron his stuff at the beginning of the week so that that's out of the way. You don't have to rush and figure out how to do stuff when he needs it. It's already ready. That's something that we negotiated from the beginning. Ladies, I'm telling you, it seems picky, but I'm telling you, when you get married and you just assume he's gonna come in, he sees the hamburger on the counter, and you just think he's just supposed to just know to go in there and cook. Good luck with that. You come back and tell Miss Nicole how that worked out for you, baby. You come back and tell me how that worked out for you. Did he just automatically know to just go ahead and start and make the meatloaf? Did he just know to go ahead and put the tuna on? Did he just know? Or did you have to call and remind him? Because we all know you were like, oh Lord, look at the time. It's 3 o'clock. I probably need to call him and remind him to go ahead and put that hamburger on. All the stuff, you gotta lay all the stuff on the calendar, all on the counter so he knows what to put in it. Or you give him something easy so he can make it. So you're like, my husband does his part. Right. He makes the hamburger helper. Let's be honest, ladies. Let's tell the truth and shame the devil. You know that's what it is. And don't have to go to church. If he goes with you, you have to pick the kids up, get them dressed, take them to Bible study, come back home, and he still hasn't done anything. He hasn't done laundry, he hasn't done food, he hasn't been cleaned up. A lot of guys are learning slowly but surely. You almost have to threaten to leave him for him to learn how to sweep. Okay, so what I'm saying is, ladies, time out for letting these men just run roughshod over our lives. If they choose the dark market, they get what they get. How much? I just want to know, how much did she get from you? I don't want to know about a finesser. What does that have to do with me? Well, you need to be telling these women they need to be a good character. I do. I don't talk to the bottom 60. I have nothing to do. If she's sprinkling you, that has nothing to do with me. We told you not to mess with them, and you did it anyway. So don't come back to me talking, Miss Nicole, you need to be teaching these women. I'm not telling her nothing. You know what I want to know? How much did she get? Girl, how did you pull that off? He's so stupid. He did what? He said what? You did what? Girl, what? Share with me the details, honey. Let me get my tea so I can sip on it. He's so stupid. He did what? You have Bible characters that told you not to mess with certain women. You can learn from Samson. You can learn from Solomon. And y'all refuse to. You can learn from Hosea. His wife was a whore. Like literally, Jose tells you he still loved Gomer. What's her name? Gomer. He still loved her. That's in the Bible. Okay, so you don't read the Bible. Of course not. You're heathen. Okay, so you don't read the Bible. Fine. Men throughout history. No, 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 not men throughout history. Let's just talk about now. Now. And you want to come back to me and tell me what? I'm not telling her nothing. How much did she get is all I want to know. Let me get my tea. Let me sip my tea. How much did she get? Because I don't want to hear it. Because if you are going to look over the good women for the 60%, there's nothing else for us to talk about. I don't want to hear it. You know, you're not shaming me about why I'm not shaming the 60%. My audience is not the 60%. My audience is the 30% of women. I want to get them into the 10%. That's my job, not to fuss at the 60%. Let them live. You know, it's been women all throughout history that about that life. So this isn't anything new. So stop acting like, oh my God, she just changed all of a sudden. No. You had the wool over your eyes because you wanted the wool over your eyes. And especially if you're in the church house and you have a relationship with the Lord and you're still falling for old tricks. Solomon had everything, the richest man on the planet. He had God's favor. I mean, Solomon had it all. And what's the first thing he did right out the gate? Solomon became a passport bro, but y'all not ready for that conversation. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up. Y'all not ready. I'm just getting wound up, but I'm gonna wrap it up though. Y'all not ready for that conversation. Solomon was a passport bro, and look how that ended up for him. But okay, y'all not ready. That's cool. You're not ready. It's not about the other nations. It's about not believing in God. It's about the principles. That's what I'm talking about, not the location, the principles. She pulled him away from God. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And you all walk right into the women that pull you away from your greatness. And then you want to come back to the women that were standing there all along saying, I love you. I'll hitch my wagon to you. You want me to be, I'll be submissive. You want kids? I'll have your kids. Sure, you don't have to have a whole lot of money. We can go camping. I can make that a good trip for me and the kids. No, you don't want her. Well, I'm not perfect, but I would like to wait until I get married because I want to make sure that we're going into this marriage right. Oh, you just trying to play games. Really? Or is this projection? Really? Are you so low self esteem that you don't think somebody would actually like you for you? But then you want to come back to the women that uh you dissed, and you want her to help you build your tarnished legacy or what's left of it. Yeah, I'm telling them to ignore you. Why? She won't be any worse off than she is now. See? Because you already are ignoring her. And then when you get with her, you're going to be hate screwing her and hate marrying her. And then you're going to be secretly lusting after the women that you couldn't get. And that's why the bottom 60 women are always talking smack to married women. It's not because of the women in their inbox telling them, yeah, I wish my wife looked like you. Yeah, yeah, I'd be unhappy. Yeah, this, that, yeah, whatever. You just can't control your manhood. What's little of it that you got. You can't even control yourself. You have no self-control. So you lied. You can't even keep a vow. No wonder you're at the bottom of the business world because you can't even keep your word with your own wife. You can't even do the basics. You know why a lot of successful men, when they go into business and they're unfaithful, you know what he'll say commonly? My wife was well taken care of. He quick to say that. Well, yeah, she could have a house and she could have a car. My wife is well taken care of. That's one thing he can say when he gets into that negotiation room. He can say, she was well taken care of. A lot of men can't even do that. And what I'm telling you, fellas, is it's time out for that. This society, look, and let me talk to my family, my black family, right quick, up and through here. And this is with love. I tell you this, if we're not careful, we are quickly becoming the permanent underclass. You know why? Because the community that has families control the communities that don't. You want me to say it again? The communities that have families control the communities that don't. We were in a chess tournament. Ladies, join the membership up above $47 is going to increase in the next few weeks. To join the Future Wives Club, to join the membership, you also get access to the app. Baby, we're circling our wagons. We're coming on here. I'm going to get you all married. The next 4 years is the best time. This is a pro marriage energy right now. Now is the best time. If you want a husband, now is the best time. You are not desperate. There's nothing wrong with you because you want a husband. Stop listening to the bottom 60. That's what they want because that's how they feel. But if you want a husband, let's get you one. Right? So hit that link at the top and join us because that's the early bird special, and you'll be part of the members founding members group because we're going to have tiers. So you'll be a part of the founding ladies. So you get to make decisions, and I'll let you know what kind of decisions you're making because this is going to the next level. But I need you all by my side. And so we're going to do this. We're going to circle our wagons, ladies. We're going to the next level. But let me say this, and then I'm out of here, y'all. We went to a tournament in Columbus last weekend. Let me just tell you. I think there was a handful of black kids. And you're saying, what does chess have to do with anything? I'm looking at the families, that were there to support these kids are not playing video games. These kids are not making mediocre grades. These kids are going to go to the best schools in the nation. They're going to become your physicians and your engineers and your tech startup people and your engineers and things like that working for NASA. These are these kids. And you know what the common thing that I saw was mothers and fathers. That's what I saw. Now, whether they were married or not, I don't know, but they were there supporting their children. East Indian, Jewish, white. That's what I saw. And I saw a handful of sprinkle of black kids, but that's what I saw. And this is one of the largest tournaments in the city, so everybody knew about it. It wasn't a thing of, well, maybe they didn't know about it. No, they knew. Everybody knew. Everybody in the chess community knew this was a tournament, and I didn't see too many of us. And what I'm saying is, you might say, well, chess is not an indicator, but it kind of is, because chess teaches children how to think, critically think, how to move and maneuver. It helps them develop math skills. It helps them develop learning how to compete, how to face an opponent, not to give up, how to stay focused. And a lot of our kids can't stay focused. They in TV, they in the video games and everything else. They've got to stay focused. We need them. We are closely becoming at the rear. I don't have to spit stats to you, but you know what it is. And a lot of them have been raised with one parent. So they have a lot of catching up to do. So that's up to the community. But now it's not the time to be all up in the dark market. And that's the best we're going to do, is the dark market. Get out of the dark market and do something with your life. Some of y'all been in the dark market for years. Some of y'all 50 or 60 years old in the dark market. Come on now. I'm not judging. All I'm saying is, if that's you're not in the marriage conversation. It's time for women that want to be wives. It's time for us to circle our wagons. We got to get tough out here. And we have to differentiate ourselves from them. And when the men start talking stupid, we got to call them out on it. Enough is enough. And ladies, please. I know some of you take it as an insult, or you feel like you should know how to get married on your own. If you've had several failed relationships that did not result in at least getting serious enough to talk about marriage, you need a mentor. And that's okay. We all needed one. I needed one. I was a divorcee in a major city. I needed a mentor. It's okay. That's what I'm here for. I don't judge. I was there too. You talking to a woman who was in her 40s in Atlanta, a divorcee, crying on a Friday night. I'm her. Like, I am in no place to judge anybody. I was her. You know what? I said, enough is enough. I'm tired of Hallmark and Lifetime. I'm going to get out of this house, and I am going to get a husband. This is beneath me. This life is beneath me. I don't feel safe. I don't like being single. I spend more money as a single woman than I did when I was in a relationship. This is crazy. I don't like this. What do I need to do? How do I need to position myself in this market to be seen as a wife? And I did the work, and here I am. That's all it is. Ladies, it's not your fault the market is crazy. It's not your fault society is crazy, but it is your fault if you don't get help. That's it. That's it. That's all. $47 is not a hard investment. Get on my email list, mrsnicolemichelle.com. And also, I am shutting down my one-on-ones for the rest of the year, I think. I think I'm going to shut it down for the rest of the year. That means no one-off meetings. No, Miss Nicole, I need you. Let me book a session. I'm not doing that the rest of the year. You all have got to prepare now. Okay, so the link is at the top to book some sessions. You don't have to book them right now, but you'll have them when you need me. I'm work for you. You can email me, unlimited emails. You need me, you're getting ready to go out on a date. You need some feedback. You want to text me something. You have access to me for when you need me. Shout out to my client. She went to her first gala. Shout out to her. I always say she looks like Sierra, pretty little thing. She went to her first event. I'm teaching her to marry well, baby. You got the looks. Look at that waistline. Look at that face, girl. Let me help you get in the room, baby. Let's do it. I'm not playing. She went, so listen, I would love to be your Naomi like Naomi got it Ruth. Be your mentor in love like Naomi got it Ruth, but that's up to you. That's your decision. And use me while I'm here. Use me. Shout out to my husband for allowing me to be present like this. But I'm gonna have to scale back a little bit on the private sessions. So get into that because I do want to push the things that I'm pushing coming up, and I want to be available for that. But at the same time, the women that are serious, there is no desperation over here. It's all about seriousness over here. That's what I want. I want women that are serious. Shout out to the fellas that I'm not talking about. Shout out to the producers and the protectors out there. You know who you are. If I talk to you personally, I believe in you. I'm not talking to you. If you have my personal phone number, I'm not talking about you because I don't talk to Dusties in no way, shape, or form. If I've ever called you a bro, a friend, emailed you, I'm not talking about you. And you know that. And I love the men that are trying, they're trying to figure it out. I love y'all and I will be there to help y'all. But the rest of y'all are going to get this work. You're going to get this work. You're going to come get off these women's heads and leave these women alone, right? Until they try to figure it out. And that's what life is all about. Because, fellas, if we start talking about you all shortcomings, that's going to be a long conversation. So I know that you don't want these women to start talking about your shortcomings. I know that's true. And if these women started really talking about what they see out here, I think one day when I figure it out, you all, I might log in to a dating site. I wonder if my husband is back. I don't know if he's back. I want to log into a dating site live with my troll account on a dating site, and I want the world to see what women see. I think I might do that. Not maybe not next week. Somebody might copy me. Um, but that's okay if they could do it, do it. But I want to log in live on a dating site. Here, Phineas said, "Oh Lord, yeah, because you already know. You already know. I want to see what the ladies see, and I want the ladies to tell me what's the best site. And I'm going to log in, give me a troll account. I'm going to set up a profile. Yep. And I'm going to log in live. And I'm going to click. And you all are going to tell me, should I send them a message? What should I do? We're going to sit there and read his profile. And we're going to dissect it because I want the world to see what women see. Since everybody says women aren't choosing well, and they don't know what to do. Okay, well, we're gonna see. We're gonna log on. And ladies, you all need to tell me which site to use. I'm gonna get me a troll account and I'm gonna log on live. And we're gonna see what the women see. And then, fellas, I got you. I'm gonna flip it. And I'm gonna log in as a dude. Maybe I'll get Tony to do that episode with me. And I want the women to see what the fellas see. Uh-huh. 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 And so yeah. Maybe not next week because I have that planned already. Maybe the week after. Yeah, going in the summer, that might be good because I want to do my Mother's Day uh series. So that might be good. Next week is going to be fun. So make sure you pass the word. We're going to continue dragging next week. I'm dissecting a video of a man that I think you young ladies should flock to his channel and support. I will talk about him next week. And fellas, I need you in the building. The thorough man, I need you in the building next week as well. And then I think the week after that, we will talk about, we're going to do the dating sites. So one show will be me trolling and logging in as a woman to see what the women see because the fellas and other women, you all need to see, we need to rag on the guys because they don't believe what you see. So we need to show them what you see. And then the next week after that, we're going to flip it and I'm going to log in as a guy so that the women can see what the guys see. So you're going to see all the women that what the guys are seeing. And we're definitely going to do the Mother's Day series going into Mother's Day. I got y'all. Trust me, we're going to have a fun summer. Fun, fun, fun. Pass the word. Thank you, everybody. Those of you that are interested in working with me, and I would love to be your Naomi. Let's figure it out. Let's get you to the end zone, ladies. If you want to be married, this is not the spot. We don't make you feel some type of way. We don't filter in a bunch of single women that are going to get in there talking about they're glad to be single. That's not the space. Although there are spaces for that, that isn't the space. This isn't the space. This is for women that want to be married. We will not beat you up. We will be a support system for you to help you get there. I have women that have worked with me that will be in the places and things like that. Those of you that want to start businesses, listen, we on the move. We on the move. We on the move. So now is the time. Um, okay, hold on. We got a live one, y'all. Oh, bye, girl. She says, I feel like my mom is in competition with me in hopes I made mistakes. Baby girl, make sure you follow, like, and subscribe. I think the week before Memorial Day, I'm going to talk about the alpha daughter and the mother syndrome, jealous mothers, and things like that. Because a lot of women, they have blocks up to their femininity because they need somebody to address what their mother did, and they have a hard relationship, a very difficult relationship with womanhood, because mothers teach you womanhood. And if she wasn't comfortable in her womanhood, it's very difficult for you to embrace that part of you. And it becomes real competitive for you. Um, uh to embrace your femininity because it was competition for you with your mother. We have a live one. So baby girl, make sure you follow me, get on my email list so we can keep in contact. Skyborn Technology and AIG Joint Project said, women are incapable of choosing men. They need masculine guidance. I've seen it with 3 generations of women and family and externally. The issue is women like men that good men don't associate with. Well, that's true, but not over here. The bottom 60, that's the case. See, the bottom 60, that's true. He says, I'm an executive who's traveled the world since 4 years old with family and operate internationally. Culture in America is broken. That is true. That is absolutely true. Um, but the women over here are the 30% that you see on your screen. We're the 30%. We know what we have to do. We're buckling down. We're doing the work. So a lot of the talking points from men are about the bottom 60. And so the women over here, if it's about choice, if it's about showing up, it's about vetting, it's about all of that stuff, we work that stuff out. She says she wants to talk about mothers. The Mother's Day series is going to lead into Mother's Day, and I don't have the date for Mother's Day, but we're going to intertwine that into. I gotta get my dates ready so that we could talk about mothers. And it's not a beat up session on mothers, but I want to get you to a point where you kind of take a deep breath and forgive her so you can move on and become the woman that you need to be, because a lot of mothers are just now realizing what they needed to be and how they needed to show up, and they feel guilty about it. So will you get a 100% resolution from them? Probably not, unless they are self-aware, and a lot of them just aren't. So I will give you that so that you can heal and move on, because some of you haven't reached your potential because you can't really trust people. You can't really trust other women. You're very competitive with other women. A lot of that is mother wounds. Um, um, you have a hard time bonding. You have a hard time trusting people. A lot of that is mother wounds. So mrsnicolemichelle.com to join the email list. Skyborn says, I am positive we need to take our culture back early, which is only focusing on the patriarchal family. I agree. I agree. But men have to be in position. That's what I'm saying. The men have to be in position for that. The women here know that already, and we're in position. We're doing what we're supposed to do. Okay, we're Esther's over here trying to get ourselves together, right? Some of them are Ruth. They're already ready. They just need direction. And then there's some Esther's that got to get cleaned up a little bit and get prepared. All right. So we have some Ruths and some Esther's over here. So I get what you're saying, but we also need men in position to marry them. That's what I'm screaming about. Right. Women really need help choosing a husband. That's what I'm here for. That's what the marriageability ratings were all about. Remember when I did that? I'm going to be doing those things, and again, and I'm debating if I should do those live or if I just want to do that in all women's spaces. Let me think about that. Let me think about that because I want the women to feel safe when I'm mentoring them. I don't want them to feel attacked or anything like that. I want them to feel safe. Anyway, let me go make some dinner and straighten up a little bit. Ladies, you ladies, please don't have your husband digging down into the laundry, digging for stuff to wear, trying to find socks and stuff. Fold his stuff up and put it up. Serve his plate to him. Okay? Serve his plate, make his drink, set your table, serve his dinner. Okay? Do right. Do right by your husband. Look cute when you go to bed, okay? And ladies, those of you that are preparing for your husband now, get in the habit of being cute when you go to bed, right? Get in the habit of folding your laundry now. Get in the habit of preparing meals. Expand your cooking skills. Okay, YouTube University. Expand your cooking skills. Shout out to AB. I love him. And cooking with Divas Can Cook, and there's a couple of others that I like um that go and practice. What's her name? Cafe Delights. I like her. I don't even think she still does videos, but a lot of her dishes I've done. Go expand some of your cooking skills while you're single. And you're getting a cookbook. Awesome. I'm still working on my cookbook that I'm going to put out. That's simple for newlyweds. You need something quick. Boom, pull out Miss Nicole's cookbook. Boom, you got something for your man. I'm working on that. Expected by Christmas, hopefully. Oh, because it's like low on my priority list, and so it's just one of those things. Plus, Martha Stewart says she's putting out another cookbook, if I'm not mistaken. Plus, those of you that have Netflix, check out With Love with Megan. A lot of people are kind of like up in arms about our TV show, so I had to watch it, and I didn't find a problem with her show. Like it's no different than all the other cooking shows. Like I missed it. I didn't understand what people are so upset about. I mean, I wouldn't put my real house on TV either. Like, y'all don't even like me. So why would I put that on TV? And why would I have my real friends on here so you can dissect them and troll me and get and turn my friends against me? Like, I don't understand why she would make herself that vulnerable with with a society that is kind of harsh with her. So I don't understand anything of what the pushback what her show is. It's very relaxing, very feminine. She shows you how she prepares food and what's important to her. And I think as the show progresses, we're going to see her open up a little bit more. I think she was just trying to get the first season out of the way to see how the people received it, and then maybe she'll open up a little bit more. Who knows? But look, all the cooking channels, and you want her to just be open box with you. I don't. I think she wants to do things that she loves, and she's with the man she loves, and she's trying, and that's what she wants. So whatever. Somebody says she loves Joanna Gaines and Magnolia. Okay, awesome. Are they on YouTube? Want to check them out. Um, the 47 Club is the link is at the top. Is pinned at the top. That link is good as long as we're live. You can go ahead and set up. If you want to book sessions with me, go ahead and get them, and then you'll have them when you need me because I am not offering one-on-one sessions the rest of the year. I think I'm going to shut that down. I did it for the spring, and so, but now I'm got to shut it down. All right. So those of you that have packages, you're good. Just get you hit the schedule, get on my schedule, boom, and you have it. You can schedule whenever. I'm very very flexible. Get on my schedule, boom. But these one-offs and things like that. Oh, Miss Nicole, I got an emergency. If you're not ready in a package with me, or if you're not already in the memberships places, then I'll be like, oh, girl, well, I'm gonna pray for you. I hope it work out. And you all know, if anybody knows what to tell you, it's me. All right, and you know that. So go ahead and book some sessions with me, and then when you need me, I'll be there. right? Questions, not no questions asked. Everything's confidential. And if you buy a package with me, I even save the live so you can go back and listen to them again. So that's how what I do for you. And so many other things I give you in one-on-one sessions. Stuff that I would never say on a live, but I'll tell you in one-on-ones because you need me. Somebody said Garden and Martha Stewart. Yeah, I love Martha Stewart. She's releasing some things. By the way, let me go, y'all. By the way, ladies that love to cook and things like that, so the libraries here in Dayton are like selling books, and I that's how I get a lot of books for my library. Is I go to different, sales, estate sales, library sales, and things like that, and they were selling books, and they were selling everything for $2. And I got these books on wine. They were like big books on wine. And so, ladies, always look up your local library sometimes. The very book that you would go pay 20 plus dollars for at Barnes and Nobles or whatever. You, Sometimes the libraries, usually in the spring and the fall, they will have book sales. So go, and I got two books on wine that would have easily cost me $30 each if I had went to Barnes and Nobles. And like they were just released like in the last 2 years on wine. And so I wanted some books on wine to add to my collection. So Joanna Gaines, HGTV's Fixer Upper from Waco. Oh, okay. I definitely need to try that then. HGTV. I love HGTV. So, ladies, how is your homes looking? I think I had this blue and white kick lately. Everything is blue and white. Everything is blue and white. I don't know what it is with me, but lately everything has been blue and white, blue and white. The French blue, 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 white, 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 white. I've been on that kick lately. So, how's your decorating coming, ladies? All right, decorate. Switch up your comforter. Now it's springtime. You could have a white comforter now, a light blue, some light colors, lavender. Like fix it up a little bit. Get you some potted plants and start, herbs and spices and things like that. There's all kinds of things you could be doing now. Ladies, download the Feminine Elite Society app. We're taking that to the stars and beyond. I just needed to line up some things. We have updated the app, so go in and take a look around. We're updating it as we speak. I sent some things to my engineers to update constantly. I have the High Society Gala Simulator where you can pretend that you're actually in a gala and work the room. That game is on the app, and the husband vetting game. Some of you expressed that you wanted to work on your vetting skills. Go ahead and download the Feminine Elite Society app. But today I'm running a special for those of you watching me live. You get the membership and the app, y'all, and the app for $47. You better hit that link before I change my mind. You get the app and you get the husband vetting simulator where you're actually in, like, it's like you pretend like you're in a dating app, and you read his profile, and then you hit pass or keep based on what he says in his profile. And then if your answer is not what it should be, then a coaching message will pop up for me. And it's pretty cool. It's in the beta stages, but you can still play it. People have said they found it was fun. I have books on there, movies. Most of the books that you see at mrsnicolemichelle.com are already, you can download for free on the app. So I think you get a better deal on the app. But today, you get the membership, which I'm going to tell you more about the membership. You get courses dropped in. So on May 1st, you get new modules, and that is, we're talking about Mother's Day, the Alpha Daughter Syndrome. That's in there, and that hits May 1st, just like clockwork, every month, and cancel at any time. You can download the app, cancel it anytime. We don't hold you hostage over here. Cancel it anytime. But the one-on-one sessions you can get, I highly recommend. Some of you are dating seriously, and you're gonna need me. I'm telling you, you're gonna need me. Go ahead and get those sessions, baby. Anyway, let me get out of here. Now the sun will act like it want to come out. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that Ohio weather. Anyway, let me get out of here. Remember, I love you and Jesus Christ loved you. And until the next time, keep the faith, everybody. Peace.